No.
Welcome to Blue Skies from the Basement. My name is Austin. Joining me as fucking always is my best friend, the Savage Dad himself, Wes.
Hello there.
Behind the camera over there is our beautiful producer, Trey.
Hello.
God, you're looking so good
He's
today, bud.
absolutely gorgeous, man.
Just looking so good today. Yeah.
Fucking sexy.
Dude, I mean, come on, man. How do you walk out the house like that? You know? Do you stop traffic? Like, do people just like, you know? Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
man.
you know?
He's like an angel.
Jesus Christ, Trey. How you doing that? We got Junie here with us also. Hi, Junie. Oh, you're doing great. You're doing great, girl.
That banana.
Oh, I will fondle that banana. Yes. And then also joining us again, what, third time now?
Third time in a row.
Third time in a row is Emily.
So,
what up? Kevin.
making myself real comfy here.
Yeah. Kevin will be here soon. He went to go get food. So
Trying to give me some fucking chicken.
Kevin shall return with chicken.
But yeah, welcome to the show. How's everybody been? You know,
Crack-a-lackin' home dogs.
We had our meeting last week, so.
Shut up.
What?
It's crack-a-lackin' home dogs.
What is crack-a-lackin'?
Oh, okay. I'll let that one. I'll let that one
Cosby
slide.
on the show.
And who's not going to be on the show next week?
Okay, not full Cosby. Whoa there.
We only allow half Cosby.
Oh shit! Ow, my back hurts. I just like moved.
Sorry.
My lower back.
Getting old, buddy.
Blew his back out
Next
last
to the
night.
burp counter, we have the Cosby meter.
Getting a little too Cosby, guys. I have to tone it down.
We went to Half Baked earlier, and he went, "You just left my drink inside. What if somebody roofies me?" And I went, "Hey, free drugs."
Oh yeah, we went to Pride today. Happy Pride, everybody.
Yeah.
Happy Pride,
Happy
bitches.
Pride.
So we went to Pride and walked down to Half Baked, and they had the sign out that was like not open until 4:20, and this dude like walked up and was like, "Wow, they're not open until 4."
It's kind of shitty for Pride.
And then walked away, and I was like, "Bro, can you fucking chill the fuck out?"
Relax,
Like,
my guy.
Jesus Christ, like,
Not
Way too
everything is
heated
against
right
you.
now.
like holy fuck, dude.
There's a lot, but not everything.
Like, just take a fucking chill pill real quick. Yeah. Like, that's all I need you to do is just chill the fuck out, because goddamn, you're like up here, and I need you to come like way down here.
Absolutely.
So, I forget his name.
Bob was there.
I know, but who was the dude that was?
Behind the grill?
Yeah, starts with a C, doesn't it? It was like, it's not Calvin, but like something.
Kelvin.
I know, right? I
Carson.
already forgot it and feel bad.
Shit.
I already forgot it and
I
feel
do
bad.
too.
Yeah.
And you know what? He even said like it's gonna take a couple more times of me introducing myself.
Yeah,
to
he
really...
did. He did. And I still feel bad. But I asked him, I was like, "Oh, is Johnny working?" Or like, "Who's in there?" And he was like, "Oh, Bob's in there." I was like, "All right, cool. Like, can you go get him for me?" He was like, "Yeah." So Bob comes out and he's like, "Oh, you guys can come in." Like, they were opening at like noon, and we had like, it was right before noon, and so like he was like, "You guys can come in, grab a drink, whatever." So we like walked in and was able to like get in early, kind of. And I was like, "This is fucking dope, dude."
When being regulars at a bar pays off for you.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
I mean, I had been around since before they even had that bar, when it was just a brewery and it was like a members only shit. So like, yeah, and I was like, "Come on, guys, let's go grab a drink." So that was cool. And and then Pride was pretty cool, like walking through, you know, and just having fun with people and shit.
He
like
helped
that.
me look at chicks' asses all day long, and I really appreciated that. He was like,
Oh, is that what you?
and I was just like, oh god.
Oh, is that what you appreciates about me?
That's what I appreciate about you. I will not be taking 25% off over here. No.
That's good wingmanning, though.
I wore a shirt that says "Just Boof It,"
Yeah.
and the Nike swoosh is made of a finger.
Nice.
Dig that. I was like, hey, that's the human wallet. That's just the hidden pocket.
Oh,
You
yeah,
just shove it
for
up your
sure.
ass. That's the answer to everything.
Just shove
Fucking
up your
boof
ass.
it.
Just boof it.
Just fucking boof it, dude.
I agree with this. And
I
It's
think-
free if
I
you
think
boof it.
You either boof it or parachute it. That's all. That's it. One of the two.
Parachuting upsets my tummy. So.
Oh,
You gotta put it in
everything
your
upsets your tummy.
Yeah, I've got like a 90-year-old lady's stomach.
There's a bunch of like, you just eat and then your stomach's like,
Bro, when we went to Kosai last weekend, I had this loaded mac and cheese that they had, which had bacon and like, you know those crispy onion things that people put on their salads? It had that in it.
Yeah.
It was fucking bomb as hell, but immediately I was like, oh god, Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. And then they were like, we're closing in 20 minutes. And I was like, thank fuck. It was, yeah, I can't. My stomach is so fucked.
I literally can't eat Chipotle. I mean, I know a lot of people got
I
sick
love
from Chipotle, and
Chipotle.
that's like a thing with them, but like I just get sick every time I eat it.
There was an E. coli
Really?
outbreak with,
Yeah.
like, everybody's lettuce for a minute there.
Yeah.
Kroger was having a problem.
Taco Bell.
Taco Bell was having a problem. Chipotle was having a problem. Everybody's lettuce just had E. coli.
Yeah.
Universe Ender 21. Hello.
Damn.
Hello.
What a name.
I don't know who you are, but hi.
Love
From,
that
like,
name, though.
The year 2021, or like you're the 21st
You're the-
universe?
You were the 21st Universe Ender?
So
or-
there's been like
20 others?
predecessor years.
Born in 1921.
Or you're 21?
It's Nathan. Oh, wow. It's just Nathan.
Hi, Nathan.
Wait, who's Nathan?
I mean, I'm pretty
Should
sure
we know you?
Nathan from the server, maybe, possibly, probably.
Oh, maybe.
They had a different username before, though.
Yeah.
I know, even Kiki was like, you changed your username, because now I'm the Rotten Banana.
Yeah.
And I was like, I mean, yeah.
There might be a reason for that. I don't know. I wonder if it's. I think it would be hilarious if it's my brother.
Oh, like, that
He's like, it's Nathan, and I'm like, who the fuck
You
is
dumb
Nathan?
piece of shit.
He's like, your brother, you fuck nut.
Fucking idiot.
21 is the year I wanted to start YouTube. Universe
Oh, yeah.
Ender
It's
21
Uni.
is long
Yeah.
version of Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't read all of it so that I can be included or anything. I'll do it myself.
Oh, you usually watch us on Twitch. That's why it's different.
I think there's chicken here.
Oh.
I feel like I can smell it.
That or your dad's about to troll us.
Right?
Oh!
Foodeth.
Kevin!
All
God,
right.
I
Well, we're
love
muting
you.
their microphones.
Yeah, I'm gonna
We're gonna
munch on some chicken here
we're gonna
for a
mute-
while.
mute you guys for the next, I don't know, 20 minutes.
Yeah. Shout out Raising Cane's.
Another straw in there.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry, is this
Stop it!
That's fantastic.
Stop.
Again, we're doing some ASMR.
Did you
tonight.
guys not order a side of ear rape?
Whoever's listening to the audio of this is like, what the fuck is going on?
What the fuck is happening?
It sounds like the static from a TV.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, I've had, pretty good, like, we went to Kosai. Oh my
BBS,
God,
taste the difference.
I fucking love you.
Oh, look.
too.
Yeah, all that shit
Taste it.
talking, and you're over there eating too.
Do you
Right
taste the
into
difference
mic.
between butter both sides?
You think I'm gonna deny toast from Raising Cane?
No.
Okay.
How's it sound in the
I'm surprised you
microphone,
didn't. I'm surprised you didn't make them get you Raising Cane's too.
I might give him some.
I'd already eaten.
Oh, okay.
I was
But
really
you
hungry.
do have a rule though. Like if you're getting Raising Cane's, then fucking let me know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I was pretty upset with you one day.
Because I had Raising Cane's before I came over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was like, you didn't give me any? And you were like, what the fuck? Why would I get you something? You have your
That is
own.
not what I said. I was not
Get
like,
your own
what the
fucking
fuck?
canes, bitch.
Why would I do that?
Why would I get you canes? You think you're special?
What did you say then?
I like that in your memory. I'm a complete asshole. I was like, sorry, man. Next time I'll get you some. I didn't know you liked it that much.
I think you came over here with it. Did you?
I don't think so. I think I had just mentioned that I had gotten Cane's before. Like, right before the podcast, I ate and had Raising Cane's, and then you were like, what the fuck?
Maybe, yeah. That sounds
I have that
familiar.
reaction anytime
That-
anybody eats canes without me. I'm like, yo, what the fuck?
That sounds familiar. It does.
Yeah.
I was like,
Univ is
dude.
trapped inside an observable world as punishment from a higher power confined us to a lesser
Jesus
form.
Christ.
I know, I read that. I was like, that's deep. I'm just trying to eat some chicken.
That is too much.
That explains it.
That
Oh,
is.
Cameron's here!
I've just been over here laughing about that.
Cameron!
I think I
Oh,
get
what
it.
up, Cameron?
I know what they're talking
Cam!
about.
Are you guys gonna introduce Kevin?
Yeah.
No, not at all.
I'm
No.
just gonna be a mysterious
He's just
stranger.
random.
We said that you were the, like, reverse porn situation where the delivery guy just shows up but doesn't join.
He just shows up, drops off the food, and is like, I'm just
He's
gonna
like,
leave
"I'm
this
just gonna
here.
fucking leave.
and then walks out.
I would like a delivery service where the guy just shows up and then like sits down and has dinner with you. I'm lonely.
Oh my god.
That's a whole business.
I bet we could do that.
That's probably a thing in Japan. Oh wait, no, that is a thing in Japan. You
The-
can like
Yeah.
just rent people to be
The
your.
That is
DoorDash
true,
buddy
yeah.
system.
Yeah.
The only thing though
You
in
wanna stay for
America,
dinner?
the only thing in America is trying not to get fucking murdered or
Yeah.
like chained in a basement.
Yeah.
It's like keep a gun on you.
But
you
I
know?
bought you dinner.
I mean, okay, that doesn't mean I'm gonna fuck you.
Wait, really?
No,
News to me.
it doesn't work that way. Just because I bought you dinner doesn't mean I'm gonna fuck you. Jesus
Yeah, he was
Christ.
gonna fuck you anyway.
Cameron said rent a friend.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well,
Meet in a public place.
there's also like the cuddle buddy thing where like you can have somebody just come over and cuddle for pay.
That sounds like bears.
Can we? Are you for hire?
Like gay bears.
You're not.
Gay bears.
You're not.
His resume is closed.
You're not for hire. I can't pay you to come and cuddle. I'll be the little spoon.
You
It's
don't
fine.
have to pay me.
Oh. Oh, okay.
It's free for
I thought you were
man.
being like, no, like I'm not gonna fucking do that. What do you mean, you weirdo? And then you're like, but you don't have to pay.
There's no dollar amount you could say that would make me do that.
Like, yeah, that's what I thought you were. I was like,
Oh.
Not gonna lie, if I was a chicken piece, I'd want to be
It'd
the
be
chicken
funny to be a
breast.
chicken titty.
Just because it'd be funny to be a chicken titty.
I agree with that. Again,
Burrs.
fucking,
Chicken titties.
at the place I work, I mean, the fucking, it just says, fucking what, I mentioned it last week, but it's something breasts. It just says breasts on the box, and every time I open the box, I'm like, breasts.
Did you really?
Well,
Seriously?
now he's gonna
This
do
is what
that
we're
to
gonna
you in
do?
the bedroom.
This is what we're
Oh
gonna
yeah,
do?
premium breasts. That's what it says. Premium breasts.
You're a premium breast.
He has premium breasts.
Yeah, he does.
I do.
What about these premium?
We're just
breasts?
like super gay this episode. We spent
Well,
like,
it's Pride
Super
Month.
we
gay
spent like 2
every
months just
episode.
mouth fucking
It,
Trey.
it is super gay every single
Alright,
Say
episode.
Wes.
mouth fucking tray.
I didn't hear
Fucking
the.
Trey with our words.
I was gonna ask, are we fucking Trey in the mouth, or are we using our mouths to word fucking?
Or are we using our mouths to fuck Trey?
Whoa.
I feel like any way this
Yeah,
goes,
yeah,
it's inappropriate.
it's great.
We're
It's a
being
party.
highly inappropriate. I do want to get something completely out of the way real quick, just because I need to get it out of the way.
Okay.
Last night, I found out earlier, a couple hours ago, that last night one of the guys that I worked with died in a car accident from driving home drunk. So I do want to say, don't fucking drive drunk. Get an Uber. Do anything else that you need to. Call somebody. Don't drive drunk.
Absolutely
Please.
not.
You don't have to. There's no reason for it.
Also, Ohio, get better fucking drive sober
It's-
slogans for your signs on the freeway.
Come on,
Actually,
they're terrible.
actually, it's West Virginia.
We saw a whiskey
Oh,
driver.
it's West Virginia doing that?
Well,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, whiskey
Remember
driver's
on the
wreck.
highway?
Yeah.
Drive.
Whiskey driver's crash or something.
Yeah, it said whiskey driver's wreck.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he like lives like in West Virginia and drives up here for work because there's like no work out there. So he was in like the back roads at night of like West Virginia, like windy fucking through the hills and shit like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, wrecked his fucking car and died. So
We're raising our
Sucks.
kids on that same notion of like, I don't care what you did. If you're high, if you're drunk, I don't give a shit. You fucking call me.
Yeah.
You don't get in a car with somebody that's been drinking. You don't get in the car if you've been drinking. You call me, I'm gonna come pick your ass up.
Yeah.
Like, I would much rather yell at you for underage drinking than have to plan your fucking funeral.
Yep.
Yeah.
My
So-
thing is, I would hate to inconvenience somebody, so I'd probably just try to walk home, if anything.
He's
well,
hoping
that's
it.
that's good too.
That's
I
a
mean,
better
shit.
option than
Like,
driving.
yeah,
Yeah, I'll drive the car next to you as you walk home.
yeah. We were on our way back from Emily's and got the text from one of my buddies at work that I worked with, and he was like, yeah, you know, somebody that he worked night shift with me. He was like underneath me, like he was a part of like my crew that I was like doing when I was working night shift
Yeah.
out there at Hilton, and so yeah, I kind of know him pretty well. So that kind of hit hard, not gonna lie. But I knew that he was kind of like doing that, and he had done it a lot, and we always did. And the dude who told me, he had talked to him like a week or two before that, and he had like just called him randomly and was like, "What are you doing?" You know, whatever. And he was, you know, drunk, and he was like, "Dude, like, be careful. Here's why." Like,
Yeah.
you know, be careful out there. Seriously, like, it's not fucking worth it. It's not at all. Now I've got, you know, a funeral to go to here soon. Not excited for that. And I gotta drive all the way to fucking West Virginia to fucking do it. But, you know, I'm going to. So, everybody be fucking safe out there, seriously. And
Absolutely.
don't drink and drive.
I have a friend that I used to play video games with, like a lot, not a lot, but like a decent amount, and he was just tired, and he fell asleep at the wheel, and he crashed into somebody, and he's fine, but the other person he crashed into they passed away, and he's about to do 4 years for it.
Yep.
God damn.
That too.
Yeah.
You gotta be careful out there. Like, seriously.
Crazy.
If you don't feel, if you're tired, if you're drunk, like, if you don't feel
Fucking
like
first
it.
off, pull over. There's a shoulder
too.
for a reason. Like,
That too.
pull over.
Yeah, even if you don't die, you'll end up in a hilarious YouTube video where, like, I was watching one recently where dude fucking he just had, like, a fucking traffic light on, like, the whole pole just on top of his car. The fucking light's, like, covering his door.
Oh,
He
yeah.
fucking stumbles out of the car and he's, like, pushing the light out of the way. He's like, everything's fine. Like, everything's fine, officer.
Was it from the, yeah, because the cop pulls up and he, like, tries to pull away and he's like, dude, fucking put it in park, stop.
Oh,
like,
yeah, he's like, the car's still moving.
yeah, he's like, stop, dude. And he's like, what?
Everything's good, bro.
What's going on, man? I don't, what's the problem? He gets out and he's like, oh, jeez. And I'm like,
Do you think I'll be able to drive my car? And the cop's like, dude, there's a traffic
First off,
light on
you're
top
going
of
to
it.
jail.
yeah. Well, there was that one recently where there was, like, the chick that, like, was driving drunk and ended up killing 2 people, like, they were crossing the road or whatever, and she, like, ran over 2 people and killed them. And then she's, like, they're, like, I think they're at the hospital because he's, like, they're about to blood test her and everything else. And she's, like, asking him, like...
Am
so,
I going to school tomorrow?
yeah, am I going to be able to make it to school on Tuesday? Like...
Like, you killed a family of 4.
And she does not
You're
fucking
going
get
to
it
prison.
at all. Like,
Yeah.
at all. She's not... She's like...
Gone.
He's like, you killed 2 people. And she's like, yeah, but can I still get my car? Because I need to go to school on Tuesday. And he's like, you're going to jail. Like,
Yeah.
you're not going to be able to go to school. She's like, yeah, I understand that, but am I going to be able to get my car for, like, Tuesday? And then, like, laughs about it and shit. And it's like,
Jesus Christ.
what in the fuck
Yeah.
are you on right now? Is that alcohol? Like, what the fuck?
Could be lots
You
of
don't.
things.
I mean, you have no thought
I
process
feel
on,
like she
like,
was definitely blacking out.
oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But
So-
but then she's like sitting up and like it's like fine. It was weird. I don't know. That shit was weird for me. I don't get that. But
Yeah, no, I mean, you definitely fucking... Either you die, you kill somebody, or the internet crushes your being. Because there's a video of you being a fucking terrible dumbass.
yeah, my whole point is just be safe out there, everybody. And it's
Yeah.
not worth for you to drive. And I lost a good friend, and that sucks a lot. Not happy about it, of course, but everybody be safe out there. That's all I want. So, sorry to kind of like bring the mood down, but definitely
No.
wanted to make a point.
No,
All right, speaking of us going to Pride today, our topic this week was BLM.
I did what just real... I'm sorry, buddy.
I know.
Yeah. But, yeah.
It's been a stressful day.
Yeah.
I feel bad. I'm like, he's so overstimulated.
Yeah.
And then we had to come here and deal with Amelia being a crackhead right before bed.
Yeah.
I'm also sorry because part of me while you were telling the story was also like still like I want you to tell the story and then I want to make a joke, but my brain's awful where it was like you said West Virginia and I'm just singing that fucking West Virginia.
Thank God I'm not the only one
Mount
when I heard it.
Mama.
I was trying to like work that into a joke as you were finishing the story. I felt terrible about it. But here I am telling the story. Anyway, yeah, BLM, June-teenth. We did want to talk about
Yep.
that shit this week.
That is the topic of this week. That and then we'll get into the Father's Day stuff too later on in the episode. So yeah, Black Lives Matter, June-teenth, everything. Which is, you know, me and Honesty went down to like downtown when the whole, you know, protest and everything was going on.
Yeah, like summer of 2020.
Yeah, and like walked, you know, down High Street and shit like that, which was really nice to be around that many people, you know, all supporting that movement and everything else. I do kind of want to like, because I feel like you might know way more about this than I do for sure, but like all the like I guess shit with the Black Lives Matter shit. where like the people that were behind the Black Lives Matter movement, and there was like money that was going places that it shouldn't have gone, and like all this other shit.
Well,
and
so
like
there's I took a bunch of notes on this. Let me get my phone out just so I'm not getting shit wrong. But there was like, it started on the internet basically. Like some of the, like back in 2012, it was 2012. There was a police shooting of an unarmed black person.
Yeah.
And then somebody on Twitter said, I have it in my notes.
Wasn't that the start of the Black Panther movement? Or
The Black Panther was a long time ago.
yeah, that was like
or like
80s.
where did the BLM logo come from? That was the Black Panther movement.
They might have gotten it from that move, but Black Panthers was back, like Martin Luther King and shit like that.
Yeah. What you looking for?
Susan.
She's right here.
I should have pulled this up before I fucking started talking.
No, I think she needs to go outside.
Just being an attention whore.
Kevin, do you know where the back
I
door
am
is?
going to Trey. I'm going to post a photo of my daughter and her best friend at BLM. It's just gonna be there for when I talk about it.
I can figure it.
She's fine.
All right, so February 2012 in Florida.
Gotcha.
You guys remember the George Zimmerman case?
Yep.
Who could forget?
Yeah.
Right.
So I have like the brief like Cliff Notes details of that just to catch everybody up. So again, February of 2012. George Zimmerman calls to report a suspicious person, and then quote says, "This guy looks like he's up to no good, or on drugs or something. It's raining and he's just walking around looking about." The dispatcher's like, "Is he white, black, or Hispanic?" Which I only included that because it was like, are Asians not in the?
Do they just apparently Asians are harmless to the dispatch,
or maybe just not in that area. They don't. I was confused by that. I was like, just whites, blacks, and Hispanics, huh? Okay.
Okay.
Nobody else commits crimes.
Zimmerman then says, "Yeah, he looks black." And the dispatcher's like, "Are you following him?" And Zimmerman says, "Yeah." And then the dispatcher's like, "Okay, we don't need you to do that." He then ignores that, follows the 17-year-old anyways, and then the neighbors report a gunshot minutes later, and then he claims self-defense, and then 44 days after all that, he was finally arrested. And then a year later, found not guilty by a jury of 6 women, 5 of whom were white women. This sparked protests, which was like the first big in our lifetime, that type of protest, unless you want to go back to like the riots in LA back in the 90s, the Rodney King riots. Anyway, this sparked protests, all leading to the igniting of the BLM movement, which in early 2013, Alicia Garza on Twitter said, "Black people, I love you. I love us. Our lives matter. Black lives matter." And then somebody else retweeted that and then just put hashtag Black Lives Matter. And that's like what kicked off
The Black Lives
the
Matter
idea
movement.
of the movement. That's what
It was a hashtag.
yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
And then the organization obviously
There we go. I sent it to our podcast crew.
co-opted that and then used money given to funding for that. Like what you were talking about when you opened that, Austin, was like when people talk about the controversy around it, that's the organization that kind of like co-opted it and became the face of the movement, which is its kind of own separate thing. It was way more organic, and this was like people using
Yeah.
that
One thing to turn into
profit off.
another.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're being terrible hosts again.
Yeah.
I am just existing.
Hi, Kevin.
Listen,
so
I just exist.
this is actually one of my best friends, Kevin. He's just here to. He doesn't talk much. He might just observe.
Listen,
He's just a spatial
Listen.
anomaly.
Yeah.
I have to get used to people,
Yeah, he do.
and then I open up.
Yeah.
It's called I'm
Yes,
a
you
loud introvert. You're quiet until you open me up like a
He's-
clam, and then
he's-
it's like, oh god.
He's a very sweet man, but
But there's a
We-
pearl in there somewhere.
yeah, we need to get him. We need to get him through that social awkward threshold. And
Listen,
then
I had
he'll
to
be
get through
golden.
it with you.
Absolutely.
You remember me.
I feel that.
Okay.
I don't like meeting new people.
People are scary. They
Yeah.
judge you.
I noticed that the first time that we met, I was like, I could tell that they weren't making the same jokes with me. They were kind of like gauging my response to things.
I do that.
Both you and Trey were doing that, and then by the second time I showed up, we were just going the fuck off like the whole
Hang
time.
it like right here, like set it.
I could just hold it.
Or that.
Not to like block my face.
We all buy here, except
We
for
all
Wes. He's like horrendously straight.
I'm not
But-
that straight.
You're not that straight?
Well,
No, I'm
I am
Forget
also
about Trey.
straight. Yeah.
Oh, okay, well Trey might be a little bit more straight.
Jesus.
what's wrong with Dick though?
Who doesn't want a dick in their mouth?
I'm not, the idea of it really upsets me.
It deeply upsets me. Okay.
So I have like a timeline of like from then up to now
you do.
that I can run through real quick.
Of course.
And if you stop me at any point if you want to talk about any of it.
Okay. Let it roll.
So that was 2013. That's when the hashtag starts like trending. And this is after the death of Trayvon Martin. Like we all remember that.
Remember Trayvon Martin?
Yeah.
How? Hold on, dude. You know my memory is fucking terrible. First of all, Nathan. Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna remember how fucking old you are. I'm so sorry. Okay,
He
can't
sometimes can't even remember how old he is.
Well, I can
yeah.
remember that a
yeah.
little bit, but like I don't.
Convincing.
What did I have for
Oh,
dinner
you-
last night?
First time
What did I have for dinner last night? Actually, now that I'm really trying to think about it, hold on.
Cameron's like, who doesn't like dick?
Hold on.
Why are you on the fucking...
I enjoy the
Because-
concept of it.
Because, well, I'm not on the Twitch. I'm on the YouTube.
Oh, you're on your YouTube
I
channel?
like dick as an idea.
Dick is an idea.
As a symbol.
$20 is $20, and if the lights are out, you wouldn't even tell.
Well, the hair might. The hair might. give it
Oh,
away.
you're talking about receiving. Or no, you're
Oh.
talking about giving. I'm talking about receiving.
Well, that's.
A mouth is a mouth.
Well, actually, no. Still, mustache.
A hole's a hole.
Any hole's a goal.
A hole's a hole. What are you thinking about over there, Austin?
What I
He's
had
still
for
trying to-
dinner
yeah,
last night?
still trying to figure it
I'm
out.
still trying to remember. I swear
What
to
we
God.
had for dinner.
I remember we had the
last
fried green
night.
tomatoes. You made those last night.
In the middle of the night. In the middle of the night.
I was
And then-
literally about to do the same thing.
Before that, Kevin,
Oh, because we
Hold on.
No,
come on, man.
because we had dinner separately.
Did
Did
we?
we?
We did, yeah. Because I was. Because you had the whole thing happen yesterday. Without.
Spaghetti.
Oh, we did have spaghetti.
We had spaghetti with
That's
Amelia.
right. There you go.
Yep. There we go.
We did not have
It took
spaghetti
me
separately.
that
Somebody
long to
touched
remember
my
what I had
spaghetti.
for. It took me that long to remember what I had for dinner
I
last night.
cooked the dinner. And I forgot.
I'm
We
not
don't
gonna
have
remember how
memory
old you
problems.
are.
You just had to sit down and eat it. I made it.
If there's a hole, there's a goal.
Oh my god. Listen, we all have great memory.
Anyway, no. I don't know.
Pepperoni from earlier.
I don't know. I don't.
I like that fit.
I hate my life.
I was genuinely confused. I was like, that sounded like Austin, but his mouth's not moving. Where did that come from?
I love when the soundboard gets people with that.
Fuck you.
Damn, I didn't even know that was a soundboard.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right.
All right. So,
Back on
yeah,
topic.
like I said, I have a timeline. We can stop at any point, and then we'll eventually get to modern times where we were all experiencing, and we can all tell our stories of. Yeah. Anyway, so that was 2013. By the summer of 2014, the movement was full swing, and then the death of Eric Garner, which was their we're gonna go all the way up to George Floyd, and the quote from that was on the picket signs was "I can't breathe" because he said that.
Right.
Yeah.
This was 2014. Eric Garner said the same thing. He was arrested under the suspicion of illegally selling cigarettes outside of a bodega, which is fucking bullshit to begin with, where it's like you can't sell Lucy cigarettes and they'll arrest you for that. He died after being placed in a chokehold, an illegal chokehold. The officer was illegal in the sense of like it's a chokehold you're not supposed to do, like it's not by the book. It's not under penalty of law illegal, to clarify, which is fucked up as well. Anyway, the officer was fired 5 years later, and charges were never pressed. So obviously, like the protests are happening, and people are pissed off because there's no justice for that shit. It's just like and. Basically, innocent, unarmed guy got fucking killed by the cops, and there's no consequences until 5 years later the guy gets fired. Like, that's it.
Yeah, but 5 years though.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ! It took that fucking long.
2 months after that, Michael Brown Jr. was killed in Ferguson, Missouri. He allegedly stole a pack of cigarillos, which now, having like worked at a gas station for a while, the amount of people that come in and like just buy wraps or like they're just doing it for blunts, basically.
Yeah, we know that. We've all smoked weed here.
Yeah, it's just kids coming in to get wraps. If somebody stole a pack of wraps, it's not that big of a fucking deal. But yeah,
you don't deserve to get killed.
He was
that.
gunned down by officers for suspicion of being involved in a robbery.
Over cigarillos.
So worth it.
Yeah. Officer was never prosecuted, but he did resign after saying he acted in self-defense.
To what though? Like what?
A kid with a pack of cigarillos.
That's what I'm saying.
Apparently that was an armed weapon.
Jesus fucking Christ.
A cycle of killing, protest, and then no legal action or justice.
Jesus Christ.
No criminal charges, all happening under America's first black president, because remember at the time, Obama.
Oh,
bam.
Yeah.
Thanks,
And
Obama.
that was the worst
Obviously,
thing.
this ties into like the racial tensions and shit.
Yep.
And, like, so Obama's like trying to push forward some things that we could do about it, but then people who are getting killed in the streets are like, well, you're not doing enough. But the things that he did try to do was set up consent decrees, which would like allow the court to overhaul departments. So like if they've been killing a bunch of unarmed people, then the court could come in and say like, well, we're gonna change some things here. Limits on military grade weapons. So like, yeah, we're gonna stop giving you guys tanks and fucking ARs for a while.
Why were we doing that to begin with?
Right.
It's military funding.
Yeah.
Right. We have a surplus of that shit. And
Way
then-
better than healthcare.
Yeah.
Definitely a better investment.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, education.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that because that's part of like explaining BLM as a movement and the misunderstanding of it too.
Yeah.
Limits on military grade weapons and then pattern and practice investigations. So like, there's a pattern here. What's the practice is leading to this? We're gonna investigate that type of shit. So that's what Obama tried to do. A lot of people argued, and obviously it's not far enough. This all kept happening past Obama's administration into Trump's and into current, and racial tensions, if they weren't already high enough, Trump happened then.
Oh, which made it even worse. Well, okay, so I do want to talk about like Obama becoming a president and being our first black president, and then that causing a problem already with the people that were already racist, and then we got Trump, which
Made
was
people
the
even
complete
more racist.
opposite, and then it made it okay.
Yeah, it just
Yep.
people
Then it
felt
made it
okay
okay
about saying things.
And which I've always I've said multiple times on this podcast that people hold the president to such this high fucking power, and so whoever the president is, they act like they can just do whatever because we've got Obama or we've got Trump, so we've got Obama, so now I fucking hate that. I'm gonna be even more racist now because we got a black president. It's like, what the fuck? And then they got Trump, and they were like, oh, I can actually be racist because he's said some shit that was
he's
fucking
racist.
So
If the president can do it, so can I.
either way, and you're like, whoa, that's not how this works at all.
Right.
And also, don't be a fucking asshole.
It's
Holy
really
shit.
not that hard.
It's
just
not.
don't be a dick. Why do you have to go out of your way to ruin other people's lives? Just mind your own fucking business, stay in your own fucking lane, and don't be a dick for no reason.
Well, that was somebody was even talking about pride when they were like, oh, well, what was it?
We're indoctrinating our children.
Yeah.
And
Oh, that's
that
a whole
shit.
huge thing
Oh,
right
yeah.
now. Yeah.
Or somebody was like, oh, it's Men's Mental Health Month, but it's also Pride Month. And it's but nobody's talking about, men's mental health. And they're just
Talk
talking
about
about
men's
pride.
mental health all the time.
And, yeah, I mean, but
It's like a daily problem, so handle it on a daily basis.
and I was like, nobody is, really... I do think that, with men's mental health, it's not a thing, but that's also because of men. We do that to ourselves also a lot. I don't think that we do. We definitely talk to each other when we're having, tough times and shit like that, and are completely honest about, how we're feeling and shit like that. We open up
that
to
gets
each other.
into, toxic masculinity. It's
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
and
shut
it-
up and swallow it mentality.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that when they talk about toxic masculinity, it's the being swole and all this
Andrew
other
Tate's.
shit, right? That kind of shit. But
It's fine to be fucking physically fit and swole, but
That- and-
also don't fucking have an ideology around it.
I don't. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I
Less of a
being-
man if I talk about my feelings. He constantly apologizes to me. He's like, I'm sorry, I'm so emotional. And I'm like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, because like
Communicating is good. How are you feeling?
I'm like, I would much rather know what the fuck is going on in your brain rather than sit around and be like, is it me?
Yeah.
Is it me? Because I don't know, because you won't fucking tell me.
But even like earlier though, like when I got the text message and everything else, like that my buddy had died in a car accident, like there is a part of me that still was like, I should kind of like hold this in a little bit, and because we've only known each other for so long. I know.
I don't think that was because of me. I think that was because of Amelia.
That too. Like I had her, and I knew that I had to take care of her, so I couldn't just like stop and like.
Oh, kids are a whole nother dynamic. There's been times where like I want to ball and my kids around. I'm just
exactly, and you're supposed
Yeah.
to be you're supposed to be your kid's superhero. You know. Even as a mom, like, I'm very weary about crying in front of my daughter. She's seen me cry a bunch of times, and she's comforted me. Mm-hmm. And that's, like, a whole different thing where I'm like, well, thank God you know empathy, but at the same time, like...
My kid coming up and be like, it'll be okay, Daddy, and, like, patting me on the
And
back,
you're
and I'm like, oh, you son of a bitch!
I was fine until you said that!
And yeah, then there was earlier when, like, I was putting Amelia to bed, and I was like, can I just have a hug? And she just, like, holds me for, like, a minute, and I was like, fuck, dude. Like, I feel like you know, like, that you just know that I'm, like, not alright at the moment. Like, when I asked for that hug, like, she held me hard, like, actually gave me, like, a big hug and, like, just sat there for me. She doesn't normally do that.
She could tell you were stressed out.
She doesn't normally do that. Like, if I ask her for a hug, she'll give me a hug, like, and squeeze for, like, a second, and then she'll, like, let go. And this time she, like, just fucking held it there for a minute, and I was like, I have to, like, hold it together, like, for sure. But, like, I don't know. I don't want to put my shit on other people anyways, and that's another thing of, I would feel like, kind of like toxic masculinity, where that we have been taught as men.
Yeah, no, there's a difference.
I wasn't allowed to cry.
Boys aren't allowed to
Yeah.
cry. That was like a whole fucking thing. Boys aren't allowed to cry.
Yeah, no, I wasn't allowed to cry. And I just straight up don't cry.
And there are
And
some
I haven't
women,
cried in
there
years.
are some
Damn,
women.
years? Yeah.
There are some
Damn.
grown adult little girls that'll say, like, that's an ick of mine if he cries in front of me. And I'm like, fucking grow the fuck up.
I was just telling my wife
Grow
today.
the fuck up. So you're allowed to sit here and cry and bitch, but he's fucking not?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. I was just telling my wife earlier today, I haven't cried in like 2-3 months. And that the next time I cry, it's probably going to be a big one because that's a long time for me.
Yeah.
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 You're like, next time, I'm going to sob for, like, a whole half an hour. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think that I go like a couple of days without like having to hold back from like tearing up, or like if I watch a TikTok or like some shit, like,
Oh yeah.
or
no,
just thinking about shit.
something's
like,
wrong with me the past couple 2-3 months, and that's why I haven't cried. Like,
You,
yeah,
like,
it's
shut
weird.
off.
Normally I am very emotional and cry a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I am. If that happens to me, there's definitely something wrong because I feel shit like on 100% all the time. If it's, you know, like, or even looking back on photos with like Amelia and shit, or, you know, like soldiers coming home. I don't necessarily agree with like the whole military and all that other shit and like war and all that. But seeing somebody like come home to their kid and their kid's like so happy to see him, and then the kid starts crying, and then I'm already crying. Like, I can't go a day without like fighting back tears. I just feel shit so fucking hard.
Yeah.
Like, if I ever don't do that, oh, there's 100% something wrong. Like, I don't think that will ever happen. I
That's
cry
what-
all the time.
That's what disassociation is when you just flip that switch in your brain and suddenly, like, you're like, I don't want to feel this, so I'm not going to.
Sometimes I wish I could do that because it is a lot to like deal with on a day-to-day basis.
Because what did I tell
think
you
I do
earlier?
that, and it's really not healthy.
Yeah,
it's
like
not
what
good.
did I tell you earlier? That feeling doesn't go away. It's
Yeah.
just you're shoving it off to deal with at a later time, and then eventually it all catches up to you.
No, but there's times where it's inconvenient, is what I'm saying. That's where I'm like, sometimes I wish that I could disassociate a little bit because it's not the right time for things to be like happening, like especially at work and shit like that. I'm like,
Well, whoop-de-doo.
Now
Life
is
happens
not
at
the time.
inconvenient times.
yeah, but I also work for a fucking, you know, like,
A big manly job.
Yes, and that blue collar shit, and those old guys, they don't fucking get it. They don't understand, and then you're like some little bitch, and then you have to hear shit about how. Then I'm gonna hear it for the rest of the fucking time that I'm there that I cried at work, and then I'm gonna get shit every single fucking day.
So ironic though that it turns out they're little bitches as hard as they are on the outside.
Yeah.
Like there's a little bitch in you. Like
and I'm like I wish that there because for me it's a lot to deal with on a day-to-day basis when you're going from here to here to here to here constantly on a day-to-day basis. Like that's a struggle. It makes it difficult. So I wish that I could disassociate and just be here sometimes. I don't want it to be all the time because I know that like if I'm here all the time and then when I do get to here or get to there, it's gonna be fucking the worst. But like there are some times where I'm like I wish that it would just be somewhat like consistent instead of I could be having, you know, the time of my life and be super happy and then I watch a TikTok and then I'm all the way down.
Yeah, listen to the wrong song or something.
And then I'm like crying basically. Like that's emotionally exhausting.
We have discussed how I am an internal processor. Like I hold everything in, and that's a huge trauma response for me. Thanks, Mom. But I hold everything in. I process it all in here. Yeah. And then every so often it'll slip out. Every so often.
I used to like every once in a while be at work and something will, I don't know,
you stub your fucking toe and you're just like, God, my life sucks, and it all just spills out.
It'll never be pain related. It'll literally just be me like, I don't know, like some thought will just trigger another thought and it just spirals out of control and where they're all negative back to back.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cameron.
And I'll be at
Can't
work
confirm.
and I'll just like, my eyes will well up really bad. Like, I don't start full-on crying, but, like, I get that lump in my throat.
Yeah, and then you're like, what the
everything.
fuck is going on? Like, I literally just can't figure out how to unclog the fucking printer. And I'm over here, like, having an existential crisis about it. It's always like that one thing that you're like, you're just trying to do something super fucking basic and simple, and for some reason it's not working out for you, and you're just like...
I do that every day, Trey. Like fighting back tears, and, like, that is an everyday thing. Like every single day there's a moment where I just like have like those thoughts and just immediately like I have to like hold back my tears and just like, and it's like thinking about like, well shit, what am I gonna say at Wes's funeral, like that type of shit. Like for whatever fucking reason, the way that my brain
I'll write
works.
Down your speech for you.
I
write down the eulogy. You gotta say it word for word.
Or like, what are people gonna say at my funeral? Like that type of shit. You know, like when people go to my funeral, what are they going to say about me? And talking to a therapist, and they were like, that's you thinking about, like, what kind of type of character you are right now. Like
that makes me feel selfish because I'll be thinking like I suck, my life sucks.
Yep.
I'm gonna
why can't I do anything right?
Right, I'm gonna be stuck at this job forever, and I hate this fucking job.
Doing everything
and
fucking
then I'll just
wrong.
Start crying. I'm like, look at me crying at my job.
Look
fucking
at me crying
suck.
at my job. Look at me, I'm such a pussy.
The times I have cried at my
That's
job,
how it
it's
is for
been
me.
exactly that though. Where like I have to, I'm sorry, I'm crying. Everything's fucked up right now. I'm sorry. I
having a
just
really
need 20
hard
minutes
week.
outside.
But I think about like
Everybody's always cool though. I'm like, yeah, you're fine. Just go.
You're cool, man.
I've never been caught. I've always fucking.
I'm a hider.
I've always been by
I'm a hider.
Same.
Been by myself.
when I talked to my therapist about it, she was like, "That's you're thinking about what type of person you are. Like
Right.
and it's a fucked up way to think about it. But you're like, what would you guys say at my funeral? You know, you guys, I feel like everybody here would have nothing but good things to say.
No, I
and
know what you're
you
thinking.
know,
I'm just gonna hold that one in.
but everybody would just have good things to say. All of my friends and everything else, like they would have, you know, good things to say. And because I think about that, I think about my decisions, and I didn't do that before. And like back when we first met, kind of being a piece of shit, like I didn't think about that until like within the past, I would really like with Amelia being born.
Yeah.
And like I like once she was born, I kind of like really started thinking about it and like what are people gonna think of me when I'm gone and shit like that, and what would they say about me? And I think about that
bitch.
I think about that.
Fat cock though.
That dick be working.
and it's a fucked up way to think
Even
about
in this
it.
casket, he's fully erect.
please, I swear to God.
Just shove a banana in your pants.
Just have me have a full hard on.
I'm like paying the mortician on the side. Like, can you like shove something up in there?
It's like a fucking rod inside of it. Keep it pointed straight
Just
up.
please.
I'll give you $50.
I give you $50.
Again, it's a really morbid way to
Could
think
you drain the semen from his balls so I can just keep it in a vial?
I'm sure they
Oh,
could. I'm
it's
sure
liquid.
they could.
Austin's liquid.
I'm sure they could. It's a really
You
morbid
have
way
put it
to
in
think
a
about
vape
it.
juice bottle.
Oh,
Combination.
gross.
But that makes you continue every day being like, well, I want people to think of me like this, so then it helps you plan out and map out
And to be
how you handle the Wes.
and how
Yeah.
to be like a good person, and it makes me think about, you know, how I treat other people and everything else. So like it's a morbid way to think about it, but it helps with my character and how I make decisions and everything else, and making sure that like my friends know that, you know, I'm always there for them, and I try and have as much fun as I possibly can with my friends and shit like that. So I mean that.
Yes.
Jesus Christ, I'm over here trying to like
I'm trying
spilling
to-
my heart out, and
I'm
you guys are like,
trying-
I'm gonna make a fucking joke.
I'm trying to lighten the mood.
It's hard not to.
Fuck you
And
guys.
we're not making fun of you. We just don't want you to get into like that dark area where then you start tearing up on the podcast. I'm trying to make jokes. I'm over here like, what would I say at your funeral? That dick goes stupid.
That should be dumb.
That shit goes stupid. I do like the Schmidt thing where I'm like, I like stick my head in his casket and I go, oh, thanks, son. Oh, thanks.
She's like, can I touch it one more time?
Can I just I just want to say goodbye to it. We got really close.
Does not say goodbye to my face. Says goodbye to the dick.
You know what? Package up that dick for me.
You know, they
Oh
only
my
have one
fucking
half of the
God.
casket open at all times. I'd be like, raise that bitch up.
That joke where it was like, man, I walked in on my grandparents. Like, I walked in on my grandma sucking my grandfather's dick.
Oh. Yeah.
And the fucked up thing is that I thought when he got cremated that they would take his dick too.
What the fuck?
It's like trying to suck.
I was like, wait, what?
Package that dick to go.
Get him his liquid. His little fishies. Little
And I was
bears.
like, what
His little
happened? They could. It burned at too high. Its boiling point was too high.
I love
Like
how
his
they're
dick was
just...
just.
His dick was the only part of him that was like invincible. It was that invincible.
Achilles.
I know they're just
Like-
coming up with different names for your sperm
Oh,
in
God.
the chat right now.
Storm said deleting that from memory.
He had like a reverse Achilles heel.
Yeah.
It was his dick.
Yeah, his dick was immortal though.
I'm sorry that Storm, if you're deleting that from memory, don't watch more of this because there's a lot of shit that you're gonna have to delete from your memory.
Sir Strong Dick.
Please.
Which, funny enough, is actually oddly close to a name in my script that we'll get to later.
Put that on my fucking headstone.
Here lies Sir Strong.
Captain Invincible Cock.
Oh god.
His dick went stupid. That dick goes stupid. Schwimmies.
Headstone ever.
Oh,
Tell Kevin to talk.
no, I refuse to.
Senior super cock.
There you go.
Senor.
Senior.
Senior super cock.
Senior big dickets.
His last dash.
Okay, we can stop talking about my dick now.
No,
No,
that's it's going all night
It's a
now.
whole episode now.
We went from we
We're from Black
forgot to
Lives
hit
Matter to
record.
his
Oh,
big
no,
dick.
you
to
did
his
not.
dick.
Dick.
Wes is like, I
God
really
damn
want to
it.
talk about
Steal
your
it from
dick
the- I'll
though.
steal it from the video.
Oh
It's fine.
my god.
Oh, you know I'm gonna clip this.
I'll steal it from the fucking
Jesus
video.
Christ.
I don't know why talking about your dick made me be like, are we recording?
I want that for future reference.
Did you forget to hit record too?
I did.
We'll just, alright, so you gotta steal it from the stream, I'll steal the audio from you.
Yeah, but it's
Oh,
on
boy.
YouTube and it's
That's
up there
weird
forever.
that I
Yeah.
said that.
Yeah,
It's easy.
I'll just clip
It's
it from
literally
YouTube.
two
We'll
dads.
be
God, we
fine.
suck at
Yeah,
our
yeah.
jobs.
Yeah.
It's live. You guys can watch this thing
Listen,
live.
all of our 4 viewers care about how much we're dedicated to this.
Absolutely.
His dick, godly.
Yes.
His dick, godly. Invents a schlong.
Do you fart with that ass?
She fart with that ass, bro?
Do you shit with that ass?
I love how all day at fucking Pride I was like, but do it clap though. And then we passed this one bitch and he went, and I was like, that one claps. That one claps for sure. Oh fuck.
Oh shit.
All right. Anyways, BLM.
Yeah, so back to the things that matter.
Is it wrong that I was thinking big, long, massive the entire time?
We went from BLM to talking
Big
about
long
my
man
dick.
meat.
Jesus Christ. What is this show?
So speaking of Trump,
Speaking of Trump, big long man meat.
is
Oh,
literally
yeah.
where we left off. So that's when shit
These
got
hands
super
are
divided,
huge.
obviously.
His penis, huge.
Huge.
Big hands.
These hands are huge, much huger than Marco Rubio's.
You do a decent job.
I was gonna say.
I was practicing my Trump at home. I was like, nah, I can't do
I
it.
can do that.
Kevin was like, I got you.
Now, one of my favorite West quotes from last week was, "These Jews, they don't even lift.
They don't even lift, bro.
They don't even lift, bro."
Out of context, that sounds terrible.
We're not anti-Semitic.
Go into if you're a part of our Discord, go into podcast clips, and it's one of the last two that I put in there.
Yeah. All right, so yeah, Trumpy boy. Here's a
Way to stay on topic, guys. Hey yo, fuck you.
Yeah.
here's a quote from the guy leading up to his election. These protests are calling for the death of police, and that's not acceptable. That's Donald Trump in the lead up to being elected. This is when people started doing the counter protest to BLM and like more numbers. So that's when we got like the All Lives Matter.
Yeah.
White Lives Matter. It's okay to be white. Hashtag.
Yeah, remember when
So-
Kanye West wore one of those shirts?
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Kanye's just, he's so
Mentally
high.
broken.
He's just so high. He's on so much God knows fucking what. He's not even a part of this
Listen,
universe.
Ever since his mom died, something in him broke that
Yeah.
is only been more broken with every day passing.
That and the
I'm so
fucking
pissed we didn't get that burp counter.
the jaw surgery, like the jaw surgery, and then his mom dying. I think both of those like just fucked him up because
Remember when he became a Phantom of the Opera at one point, like working on his album? He was like in the rafters of the fucking, what stadium was it?
I do not remember, but I know what you're talking.
But then he was
about.
also wearing that
Same
creepy
with
white
Phantom
mask. He really was becoming a Phantom of the Opera.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude.
Well, and then you got the more recent shit where he was like, "I love Nazis."
Hitler was cool.
Yeah.
I will say it. Hitler was cool. Nazis didn't do bad shit.
It's
Oh
the new
my
Kanye
God.
track, but oops, all Nazis. Like,
Dude,
Oops, all
at one point,
Nazis.
the album Yay, he initially wanted to call that album Hitler. That is a real
Oh,
fact. I am
Jesus.
not kidding.
Jesus Christ, Kanye. Anyways,
He's
do it.
fucking absurd.
we could do a whole episode on just fucking
Just
Kanye facts.
Kanye.
Yeah.
You ever
We're-
played Kanye Quest?
Kanye Quest.
We're like the old shit was good, man. You know, like he had some bops.
He was a
not gonna
great-
lie.
listen.
He had some bops.
Separate the art from the artist. The art is amazing. That man is broken.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know who you can't do that with? MGK. He's just shitty all around.
Yeah.
I disagree a little bit.
Shit music, shit person,
I-
shit
yeah,
actor.
I like
He's
his
just
music.
shitty.
I disagree a little bit because the Lace Up album was actually fucking good.
All right,
I-
you guys debate this. I'm gonna go pee, and then I'll get
Okay.
back to my.
Okay.
I'll get back to All
The
Lives
Lace Up
Matter.
album was actually pretty good. Black Flag was also pretty good. Agree to disagree on that one.
He committed fucking career suicide. He went after Eminem. And
Okay,
you gotta
yeah.
be a special kind of fucking stupid to do that.
After that, yes, I will agree with
Gotta be
that.
a
But
special
before
kinda
that, like
stupid.
Chip Off the Block, like that Chip Off the Block was such a good fucking song. Like
I
that.
didn't like him before that beef.
No, me either. I didn't like him when he was
Didn't?
on Warped Tour. I didn't like. No, I've been keeping up with MGK. I
Or,
went to Warped Tour for 7 years.
What was it? General Admission? That album? I think that's what it's called. And there's a one song on there.
He knows too many MGK albums.
Every day.
He's
That's-
made 2 songs that I like.
Every day, and there's like a point in there where like these trumpets come in, and he's like, I forget what he's saying because I've been drinking.
I've been drinking.
But that song, whenever it comes on and it like gets to that point, like it makes me like tear up, and it's like he's talking about like when you spend your last check to buy like concert tickets to see your favorite band on the stage again, and that favorite shirt that you made for them, like that type of shit, and like, and there's like these trumpets that come in at that point, and it just makes me like feel something. It does.
I feel like he's
And
always trying to tug at heartstrings in the most generic way possible, and I'm like, bro, you're a fucking fraud. I don't know why.
I guess
but
I
he
mean,
just feels like a fraud.
I mean,
each their own,
not
I guess.
all of him can be bad because he's best friends with Pete Davidson.
Right.
I
And
mean,
Pete
phone
Davidson's
call for you,
cool as
sir.
hell.
Oh my god.
Oh,
I mean, I
Mr. Popular. Over
again,
there.
I like the
My
Lace Up
mom.
album.
That's your mom.
Your mom's calling you?
Yeah.
Put her,
Answer
put
it.
her on,
Mom.
put her on speaker.
Put her on.
No.
Put her,
Answer
put,
it.
no, come
Come
on,
on, Trey.
Come on, Trey.
Come
Put her
on,
on speaker,
Trey.
dude. Tell her she's on the podcast right now.
Hi, Trey's mom.
put her on speaker. Come on, dude.
Speaker.
No, I'm hanging out with my friends.
Yeah.
At home.
Okay, so my thing is like, so what about Mac Miller then?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. It's he's leaving.
What about Mac Miller then?
Mac Miller did it first. Mac Miller did it first. And when everybody was like, oh, sad boy rap, because of fucking Mac Miller.
Mac Miller was not doing sad boy rap in the beginning.
No, not at the beginning. He was very hype at the beginning. But
Yeah, from the Miller,
I feel like that's what MGK is trying to be,
the
is the
Miller
next
High
Mac Miller.
Life album or EP actually, or mixtape. His Miller High Life mixtape. It was all like, even kids. It was all like uplifting shit, like La La La, all that shit. That was all uplifting shit. He did not get into kind of like that sad boy shit until like way later.
Can you read the second to newest comment, please?
Talking about Austin's cock made me want ginger ale.
Thirsty.
Why ginger ale?
That's what I was
I
thinking.
do kind of want ginger ale now.
What
Yeah.
the fuck
Well, now
is
we're
wrong
thinking
with you
about it.
people?
I like ginger
I don't
ale.
even like
do
ginger
too.
ale.
I love ginger ale.
What the
It's
fuck
good
is
for an
wrong with you
upset
people?
tummy.
Have you never had Canada Dry?
I have. I don't like it.
No, he prefers his Canada wet.
Damn it, I was gonna. I like to take my Canada wet.
I can't deny
Oh,
that.
Canada.
Not denying that. Not denying that, actually. But I don't even like ginger ale. What the fuck? I'm cream ginger ale and Crown Apple. That makes sense.
Crown
good
Apple's
combo.
delicious. That's what I got drunk off of that one time that I told you I went cabrewing and then I walked upriver and almost drowned. It was Crown Apple.
I mean,
Everything good,
Welcome
bro?
back.
Yeah.
Is it because I moaned really loud? Is that why you...
I just
Gotcha.
think that, like, I don't know. MGK before, when he was actually doing rap, was good. When he did the beef with Eminem, I still listen to, like,
weird.
yeah, like that shit was so fucking dumb. And Eminem came back so fucking
He
hard
did.
and sang his whole life. And now he does like Paramore covers that are shitty as fuck. And the
Yeah.
dude just sucks all around. And like,
That is what I was gonna say when you were like comparing him to Mac Miller. I was like, I don't think Mac Miller ever did
No.
terrible pop punk.
No.
No, he didn't.
No, he
Mac
did
Miller.
not.
no, he didn't. And he would have never done that. And also,
First off,
Mac
he
Miller
wins because he
Hold
fucked
on.
Ariana Grande.
Hold on.
Like,
Fuck
he
that.
wins.
No, fuck that, because Mac Miller was so like himself. That dude was not trying to impress anybody. That dude was literally, and you can talk like any interview that anybody's ever done about Mac Miller, they've been like, that is the nicest dude ever. Like, he was so fun to be around and all this other
Him
shit.
and
Like,
MGK both had opposite trajectories. They both started kind of cringe, and then MGK just got more cringe to me. While Mac Miller got better.
Oh, absolutely.
wait, you think Mac Miller was cringe in the beginning?
Yeah, I didn't
His,
like some
like,
of his
first
early
couple
music. His
songs.
early
Really?
music is
Being
kinda
a
corny.
fucking high school kid,
Well,
and you're
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
when you take it,
That's why you
yeah,
can hear
Cringy
it.
high school
yeah,
kid.
but when
Yeah,
you take
you're
it,
like-
but when you take it in that context, though,
Even
that
with
he
the
was
context.
even with the context.
Nas was 17 and Illmatic was
Yelling at the
one
mic.
of the greatest albums ever.
Okay, but he's not fucking Nas. All right,
Right.
not everybody can live up to Nas, bro. Like, can you like take that away real quick and be
Nas
like,
is so fucking good though.
I'm.
There's other
y'all
names
are
we could name too, though.
Y'all are pissing me off right
Just
now.
Nas.
I get
Well,
it. I like
yeah,
Mac
I was
Miller
just going
too.
off it.
R.I.P.
Oh
I
wait,
mean,
Trey
true.
and West don't know is I got to meet Mac Miller. Yeah, he played at a music venue that I worked at when I was younger, and it was a Christian venue, and he showed up high as balls, as he always does.
Fuck yeah.
And he went to go take his sunglasses off, and I just went, no.
Oh, you keep those on.
I was in charge of like the green room and the pre-show like interview thing, so I was just like, you're gonna keep those on, bud. This is a Christian venue.
I only got to see him once, and it was at OSU.
Nicest guy I've ever met in my life.
Free
Hands down.
show, and he showed up late, and it was Mac Miller and then Skrillex. Actually, yeah.
I don't know why, but that's a funny combo to me.
It was Mac Miller and Skrillex, and we stayed for Mac Miller, and then fucking Alan had to be picked up from work, so we left halfway through Skrillex, and had to go. And
I've been saying for years that like Skrillex is gonna end up on the lineup of Lost Lands. It's a matter of time.
well, yeah,
It's a matter of time. It's a dubstep festival. Like he's got it. I'm gonna be pissed if this year that I'm not going now.
He shows up.
He's gonna be on that fucking like a surprise guest. I'm gonna be like, I miss Skrillex.
Ethan just said that he bought the toothy banana tea.
Fuck yeah.
Thank you, Ethan. Thanks for supporting the show, bud. Cheers
Fuck
to you,
yeah.
bud. And I'm
I'm gonna use that to feed my family.
it was awesome to see
Support
him
our
back
family.
then.
Yeah.
Like, cause that was when like
That was the era of scary monsters and nice sprites.
Yes, yeah. That was around that time, so it was awesome. But then we had to leave like halfway through, and I was pissed. I was
would be
also
too.
pissed because
Dubstep
my mom
Daddy.
had went to like some like I don't remember, like some like meeting or something with her job, and got me 2 pairs of glasses that were like Google glasses, and one I had a pair. I had a blue pair, and then I had a red pair, and well, they were both black but had like blue accents and red accents on the frames.
Oh.
And I think I wore like the red pair, and I was like, Mac Miller was playing. I was like, oh, I'm gonna crowd surf, and my brother was actually there. I ended up like running into my brother randomly. I was like, yo, bro, like hold on to these. He was like, I fucking lost them. And I was like, you fucking high-ass, drunk-ass, stupid piece of shit. Lost my favorite pair of sunglasses that I'll never be able to get again. I fucking hate you. But I got to see Mac Miller live, so I can at least fucking say that. And now I have, like, vinyl albums. And I always said that, like, growing up with Mac Miller, like, how he was, like, for Trey in the cringe fucking era.
The cringe.
He was doing like the kind of happy like hype shit or whatever, and you know, growing up with that and being in such a dark time, it was like so nice to have like an artist that I really liked.
Right.
Like the Pen Game with Sky Zoo. I don't know if you know that one, but that was one of my like favorite songs, and then that got me into Sky Zoo also. And then Sky Zoo does a an interview with DJ Prince, I think, and it's like an hour-long thing. And when I was working at Culver's, actually, I used to listen to that every single morning. And it's like an interview, but they like play some of his songs and shit like that. And I would listen to it every fucking morning and go through the interviews and everything. And that's how I got to know like Sky Zoo and shit. But like the Miller High Life, I think it's the last song on the Miller High Life is Pen Game. But and then as he progressed, like, and growing up and kind of like getting into certain things with me, like Mac, like just stuck with me, like what he was talking about at the time. I mean, watching movies with the sound off, you know, Good AM, when I was finally getting like back to being myself a little bit, like, and like wanting to be more of myself, even though I was kind of in a shitty relationship, whatever. And like, it was nice to have that. And oh god, I remember
I've been holding it in this whole time.
What was one of the lyrics? It was like fucking I'm trying to remember. It was like something about like waking up with the with a taste of her vagina and something like that. And I was like, I said that to Honesty, and she was like, "Oh yeah, that's that's what you." And I was like, "Oh shit." And
those are the type of lyrics you like,
right? And it wasn't. That was the
What was
one
the
thing. Oh my god, I'm trying to think about what the actual line is.
dinner last night. The answer's the same:
Spaghetti. Shit.
So anyways, Wes, all lives matter.
It was something like that, and
Hashtag
she got
it's okay
upset
to be
because it was the only line that she held on to.
Hashtag it's okay
That
to be
she
a
was like, "Oh,
Nazi.
so that's That's the only thing out of the whole
Hashtag
album. It was
skinheads.
that one line that she like held on to, and I was like, that's not my point. Like that whole album, as it's in a generalization, is like, yeah, I feel some of the shit that he's like talking about and stuff like that. And then same thing with like Good AM, same thing with like Swimming, Circles. Like I was in a really dark time when Swimming and Circles came out, and so was he. And he was like trying to work through that shit. So it meant a lot to me, and I like grew up with him in the same way that he was kind of, not exactly in the same way, but it was like relatable for me. So like
Right.
I held on to that shit. And the same sense of like with MGK, when like the Lace Up album came out, was around the time that we were having
Good
like the
question.
Savage Life Family shit.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
like,
that
we
did
don't
kind
know.
of push that vibe a bit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was that. So
we're all pumped on that shit.
exactly. That's my whole point. Where it's like there was like some sort of meaning behind all of that, and it was nice to have that, like, and to have those relatable songs and shit like that. Even though now looking back at it, I guess a little bit might be a little
Hey, babe.
cringe, but
Check the chat.
What was the topic again?
Listen, none of us remember anyways.
So, anyways, Wes, all lives matter.
This is why I
Hey,
have a
hey.
fucking script.
hey, welcome to Blue Skies from the Basement. We go off the fucking rails all the time.
And by we mostly mean Austin.
All right, I'm just gonna sit back.
Okay, so I left off with making the point that like things had kicked off 2012, 2013, where it was like obviously the cops had fucked up. There was a clear pattern. People were like pissed about it, and that's like BLM movement forms. Then we get all the way up to Trump, and the only reason I'm like explaining this part of it before we get to modern times is just because like everything heats up around this, and people will be like, well, Trump's not racist, like the defenders of him, and it's like, well, no, he was very clearly dog whistling. So I already read the one Trump quote where he was like, these protests are calling for the death of police, and it's like, no. Black Lives Matter does not mean kill the cops.
No.
Like and that's not what was happening either. They're like the vast majority, we'll get more to this later too, the vast majority of BLM protests were nonviolent.
It was the exact
The ones
opposite
who-
of where we don't want to be killed by cops. Don't kill cops. It's we don't want to be killed
Stop
by cops.
killing us, please.
Like that, it was the exact opposit, and people are like, no.
They're
Yeah.
like, stop killing us, and people are like, we're allowed to be alive too. Like, what?
We never
This
said
isn't
that you
about
couldn't.
you.
We never said that you couldn't.
Right.
Like, we want you to be alive too, but you are not the fucking problem. Like, you're not the one that's being killed in the streets innocently. That's the problem.
So, like,
If your neighbor's house is on fire and they call a fire truck, do you ask the firemen to hose down your house too because your house matters too? No, it's the house that's on fucking fire.
so
that's
actually,
a good way to put it.
Actually, they do. Most of the time, if houses are super close, they will actually hose down the
Listen.
house next to it because so it doesn't.
How
catch
close
on
are
fire.
black people and white people? Are they that close?
Well, I
Some
mean,
of us, yes.
Some of them live
Some
together.
of us are.
Yeah, we're not talking about
I
us.
know.
We're talking about the other white people.
Just putting a point out there that sometimes when houses are close together and they, the
I
house
don't
is
know.
on fire, they spray down the houses next to them so they don't catch
Yeah,
on
but not
fire
the whole
also.
house. You're
I
not
don't-
like, my whole house is on fire. No, it's not.
I don't know if that was the time for an actually moment.
I know. Point missed. Willingly, too. You willingly missed that point.
I didn't miss the point. I'm just being a piece of shit.
Well, stop being a piece of shit.
We've got another actually too. Actually, wouldn't mind being hosed down by a sexy fireman.
I
Because
think
if
we
the
all want to get
firemen
hosed
are
down.
sexy,
We've talked
I'll
about
give you a
doing
place to
sexy
put that
calendar.
hose.
Yeah.
We need to do a Blue Skies from the Basement calendar.
All right. So to further solidify that.
Cop cuties, cute enough duty. Arrest me, but make it sexy.
Stop.
What? Let the men speak.
No more internet.
I'm so sorry. I'm done.
No, you're not. We all know you're not.
All right. So guy tied to Trump. Here's just more proof that they're like riling this
What
up.
a terrible place to be.
Well, and
Tied to Trump. Oh, God.
you can argue that this is either because like Trump is actually racist, or it's just because he really likes being in the news and seeing himself in the news all the time.
Well,
that
he likes the
does-
attention.
He likes the
He
attention.
had daddy issues.
Right. And grifters who are like part of his team who fucking are they also like the attention because they're grifters. So like Rudy Giuliani is I don't remember if at the time he was like a campaign manager or if he was still just his lawyer at the time.
Just lawyer.
Just lawyer. Okay. This is a quote from him at around the same time that Trump said that last thing about killing cops, or you know, defending the cops from getting killed by liberals or whatever. When you say Black Lives Matter, that's inherently racist.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so that's former mayor of New York and Trump's lawyer.
America's mayor, everybody.
Yeah.
You could have been remembered in a positive light, but instead you tanked your fucking career, like any like credibility you ever had. Like you will go down in history as a fucking idiot that melted on camera.
Yeah, he looks like somebody is like if Weekends at Bernie's was like a horror movie. Somebody is Weekend at Bernieing that fucking guy, and he's just awful. Like he looks like a corpse, and he's a terrible person.
Very.
Yeah. Here's another quote as the election's happening from Trump. America's police and law enforcement personnel are what separates civilization from complete chaos. I am the law and order candidate. This is basically like among those
I remember
people.
that tweet.
That's crazy.
What kind of almost got him elected was like this type of rhetoric. Like that's what people.
I am the law and order candidate.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy.
It's extra funny that he says that he's the law and order candidate when, like, given the recent news that he's, what is it, like 37?
He's breaking the law.
37 indictments or some shit like that, where he's like, because he super broke the law, so he's probably going to jail, but it's Trump, so who knows?
I just saw a
He'll probably
TikTok.
be in a jail that he owns.
I just saw a TikTok the other day, and it was like, I'm going to go through all of the presidents and
What
how
is that,
many
47?
felony charges that they have against each other, or like against themselves. And he like literally goes from George Washington all the way up to Trump, and it's 0 all the way up. And then he gets to Trump, and he's like 71 and counting.
Well, it's kind of. I
Damn.
mean, there's a few presidents that got away with some shit where there was that
Right.
movie a couple
Nixon.
years ago where, like, I forget which president it was, but dude drove into a lake while drunk with a woman in his car. There was a movie, Chappaquiddick, made about it. It was the Chappaquiddick Lake, and he, like, she died and drowned in his car, and he,
Oh,
like,
shit.
didn't save her or some shit. Like, he just got away with it. Because he was
the president.
Yeah.
He was the president. Was he supposed to also be Captain Save-A-Ho?
I wish I
Fucking
remembered
swim,
more
stupid.
details of that.
Fucking swim,
I'm the
stupid.
president,
supposed to
not
do
a lifeguard.
Yeah. All right, so this is all like Trump gets elected, and then summer, and then Charlottesville happens. So
Oh,
like,
yeah.
the riling up all leads to Charlottesville, which I don't need to explain that to you guys.
We all know.
Yeah, but literal white nationalists show up and fight with counter protesters, which would be the BLM movement and people who are like, "This is fucked up, right? There's literal Nazis here in our town."
Yeah.
And that led to somebody being ran over in a car by a white nationalist.
Was it multiple people or?
Yeah, it was multiple people, but one person died.
Okay.
And then after that, you get the quote from Trump where, again, it's a dog whistle of him being like, both sides, there's violence and bad people. Like, he won't condemn what actually happened. He just says, yeah, everybody's a little fucked up.
Yeah,
We'll figure it out.
Great leader. Great fucking leader.
It's getting foggy in here.
I can't, like, stop vaping because this is a stressful topic and we keep,
Yeah.
like, derailing
This is
so
why-
hard.
I know. This is why I fucking got disposables for the longest time, because I could still hit it and not be this in a room. But my favorite thing is, like, you'll be sitting on the couch fucking vaping, and then all of a sudden you'll see, like, the clear line of haze across the room, and you're like, I have a problem.
I do think that like it is a stressful thing to talk about, but that's why I love Last Podcast, where they kind of like make it a little bit. It is something serious, but we still try to make it a little light, but we're still being very like serious about it.
Yeah,
Super serious.
I like
we take
how
it seriously.
smoky it is. If we dim the lights a little, it'll look like a room that villains would have a deal in or something.
The smoking man from
Oh, dude,
X-Files.
I have the perfect cat for that. I have, like, the fluffiest fucking cat on earth, and I'm like, if I was ever, like, a Bond villain, or, like...
I get you you were wondering why I brought you here.
That's not... Why did you go Mr. Meeseeks on that?
I'm Mr. Meeseeks. I'm not supposed to live this long.
This is me, Jerry! I'm in the wall! But no, know, I've always said, like, oh, Pooper would be, like, my Dawn lap cat. So you've come to me on the day of my daughter's wedding.
I don't know why, but in my head I always say that as my duder. Like,
My daughter's wedding.
Dooter. My duder.
Can we please call all of our daughters our duders?
This is my duder.
No.
This is my
No.
duder.
No.
Yes.
All of you,
It's
stop
gonna be a
it.
thing.
No.
Austin has a duder.
Duder.
Wes also has a duder.
This is my duder.
This is my heathen. I'm always like, this is my spawn of Satan.
This is my duder.
I'm so sorry for her. Yeah, she's a direct descendant from me, and I completely apologize for anything and everything that she's about to do. I'm so sorry.
Let's let Wes finish, bro. What the fuck are we talking about?
Our duders.
What are we talking about?
Trey, do you not know where you are? But yes, continue.
We're
Thank you,
talking about our
Tristan.
duders.
Alright, so the mini-sides comment leads us almost directly into the killing of our Ahmaud Arbery, which if people don't remember that one, that's the guy who was like just going for a jog in a neighborhood, and then a couple of like Duck Dynasty looking motherfuckers chased him down in a truck and then on foot and then gunned him down.
Duck Dynasty looking motherfucker.
Yeah.
I can see it in my brain. Thank you for that mental image.
Yeah, dude.
You should write a book. You're great with the scripted words.
Wait, didn't they? Oh no, that was a dude.
So they were shot down by white vigilantes, convinced he wasn't supposed to be where he was. They chased him down in a pickup truck and then got out.
For just fucking
You
jogging
came to the wrong
in a
neighborhood,
Like,
boy.
boy.
grabbed
Literally
him.
that.
They got into like a
Town.
physical
Yeah,
scuffle
back
with
the way
him because
you
he was
came.
trying to get away from them because they're fucking terrifying.
He's like, what
It's
the
just
fuck?
sperm that you decided to keep, Cameron. Not pet sperm. It's just sperm that you decided to keep.
I thought you were talking about.
I thought so too. I had to be like, what the
Literally,
fuck are you talking about?
I was reading chat.
Jesus Christ.
So a guy dies about his sperm.
Anyways, we all hit our vapes now.
You gotta. If you're reading the chat, there's certain times when you read the chat and then you don't. You gotta wait for the right moment.
I'll be over here.
Sometimes you just let the chat roll, and then every now and again we'll go back to it.
And I'm just gonna sit over here.
Jesus
I
Christ.
need a moment.
So the people who did that were eventually like brought to justice for it,
But not immediately.
but it took way too fucking long. And meanwhile, the media under Trump is just like going crazy in the most divisive way over this shit. So then you get Breonna Taylor, who was shot dead by police in her own fucking apartment.
She was asleep.
Because they broke into the
No,
wrong...
shit pisses me off about Breonna Taylor. I could go on and on about Breonna Taylor
They were-
all day long. She was literally asleep in her fucking bed, and they shot her to death.
They were
We have
after
a
her.
And they were
picture.
in the wrong house.
They were after her boyfriend too.
Who wasn't even fucking there.
Yeah, and it was under like a warrant where it was like they
Oh
didn't
my
need to
God.
do what they
No,
did.
Yeah.
they didn't.
They just want it to die.
Breonna Taylor
Yeah.
pisses me right the fuck off. I just... I keep reading the chat.
We have a picture of her on our wall.
The
Yeah.
boy
Yeah.
had a little bit of an ancestral echo to it. Because we were both like, you're in the wrong neighborhood, boy.
Man,
That's
back the way
another
you came.
instance of like a repeated like I can't breathe or the say her name thing.
Oh,
where we get
absolutely.
Say her name.
Absolutely.
For Breonna
Oh, I
Taylor.
should have brought the fucking... I made a poster with all of their names on it.
Yeah,
All of them.
I'm gonna get like in between all of this and like back in 2012 and 2013. I'm talking about like the ones that specifically got people out to protest.
Who
but
was,
there's
like,
like
the
hundreds in
15
between all of this.
Mhm.
Trayvon
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 Martin.
Martin.
Trayvon
That was the
Martin.
first one we talked
That was
about,
the first
yeah.
one you
Yeah.
talked
Yeah.
about. Okay.
So Breonna Taylor, she was an emergency room technician, and this is like right as COVID kind of starts happening.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's there's kind of like a weird, like you killed somebody who was the front line and the thing that's about to fuck us all. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so George Floyd is the big one that like under Trump.
I can't breathe.
That's the again I can't breathe pops back up. There's like some speculation that he may have had COVID when the incident happened, which again with the respiratory infection.
Yeah.
But then they
But
said
that
that he
lit-
was also on drugs and like all this other
Weed.
shit. Like,
People
Weed
love
and
to
Adderall.
say that shit.
That
Yeah,
was what his
yeah,
drug
yeah.
panel
Love to say
said.
that
Weed
shit.
and Adderall.
yeah.
They as if that somehow if it were true
That somehow justifies
It
it.
justifies a fucking knee on your neck.
The
Yeah.
fact that he
For that
called
long.
out for his mother who had been dead for 20 years.
Yeah.
Like,
regardless of like, even if he was on drugs or whatever, that nobody deserves that with him and the way that he acted. Like, he was not being combative at all. There was no reason for that cop to put his knee on his neck like that to cut off his airways. You don't have to do that. He was not combative at all. Regardless of what we could talk all fucking day about. Oh, if he was.
They said it was a fake $20 bill that he used,
Exactly.
and so the cops were called, and it wasn't a fake $20 bill. And then he was resisting arrest, which he wasn't. He was with his 2 younger daughters.
Yeah, that was all over suspected forging of a 20.
Yeah.
And there was no reason for any of that.
He didn't fight back. He ended up pissing himself, and then suffocated and fucking died.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's the same thing. We went to Pride earlier, and we stopped at the liquor store to see if we could get some drinks before the podcast. And there was this homeless lady outside the store, and I went to go walk past her, and I looked down, and the only thing that she had was like a water bottle filled with cigarette butts. And I was like, fuck this. And I walked back inside, and I got her a bottle of water, and I was like, please stay fucking hydrated. It's hot out here. Yeah. Like, regardless, I could tell that she's probably on some shit, but it's like, that doesn't fucking matter. Human beings are human beings. You don't just get to kill people because you think they're on something.
Right.
Like, what the fuck?
Well, there's a whole conversation to be had about how, like, police are trained to view criminals as, like, others.
No, go fuck yourself. You are innocent until proven guilty, and for some reason, that's flip-flopped.
Yeah.
And
you are guilty until proven innocent now.
So here's the thing, too, and that I'm somewhat going to be like a devil's advocate here in saying this, but like, there are times where, you know, cops, they're on a high alert. Like, I don't, this is why I don't.
It's not every cop, and it has never been every cop. That ACAB bullshit, I wasn't really behind that shit. It was the bastardized system of the police force. It wasn't every single cop.
That's the point, though.
Similar in a way where, like, BLM gets misunderstood by people who are dumb. ACAB was also meant to be, like, it's a bastardized system, not about every single cop out there.
Because
the tree is bad, not the individual apples.
We could also pull up, I feel like, just as many videos of cops that like walk up on a basic traffic stop for like speeding or some shit and then immediately get shot.
Yep.
So we could pull up the same amount of videos of, you know, people.
That actually happens a lot less than cops shooting people. But I get your point.
But there are also videos of like white dudes chasing cops down the street with a fucking axe because they're high on meth, and the cop doesn't even draw his weapon.
It's a dangerous job. Nobody's disputing
and the cop doesn't even draw his weapon. He's just like, "Whoa, dude, put it down."
That's like, I mean, that's my point. Is that it's a dangerous job.
Come on, it's me.
I'm here to help you. Like, please put the axe down. And he's like, "I'm gonna fucking kill you." And he's like, "No, don't do that." Like,
it's a dangerous job, and they sign up for that, and then. Also, do we give the right training? Do we?
No, we don't. It's a 3-month program.
Do you see like the videos they make them watch? It's like fear mongering. It's like they train them to approach
be scared of civilians.
Like, expect every situation to include a gun being pulled. Like, just expect it.
But that is kind of the point, though.
Yes, I understand, but then you watch the way they train them, and it just it teaches them to be so afraid of anybody.
Because there is, like, that should be something, but it's also like when you have somebody who has a mental illness, they don't teach how to deal with that.
No, they don't.
It honestly shouldn't be a cop's job. It needs to be somebody else, like, specified.
First responders.
Well, yeah.
Which is the number one reason why I wanted to be a first responder, because I wanted to be the person that would show up and talk somebody off a ledge, or talk somebody into going to the hospital to get their stomach pumped, or that was something that I wanted to fucking do.
But they don't teach cops that at all. And then, like,
no, they teach, if you want to go into a deep dive on this, there's a guy named Dave Grossman, who's like the guy who goes around and trains cops to be like, all people who are suspects are wolves. We're the sheepdogs. Everybody else is sheep. Like, a lot of precincts use this guy, and like, if you watch videos of him, it's exactly what you were talking about. We're just like, what the fuck are they showing these guys? Yeah. So Dave Grossman, if you want to like go watch some of that shit and be like, what? But I do see what you're saying. Like, it is
they actually teach cops different Fortnite dances to do over people after they shoot them.
Oh my god. The guy that, I'm sorry, but the guy that was on George Floyd gets up and just starts doing the
fucking flosses.
Derek Chauvin is fucking.
Oh my god.
I didn't mean for that to be that
Trey.
funny. I want you to continue. I'm sorry.
We are getting late into the episode, and we still got other shit to cover. I'm almost done, so.
No, we're not. We're not almost done.
No, we are. Once the history lesson is over, then we just get to talk about what we did during BLM.
Yeah. So, I guess.
You could.
Remember all the Obama things that I talked about, where like he
Bam.
tried to put
Thanks,
in.
Obama.
He tried to put in some things to like help solve the problem. It didn't go far enough, but at least there were like those 3 things that I mentioned in place.
Yeah.
Guess what Trump did up to this point now? Like when we're talking about George Floyd being killed, by this point, all those protections that Obama put in place have been revoked.
Yep, eradicated.
Yep.
And then Trump started making fun of the situation too. Like he on camera laughed at the BLM movement, laughed at everything that fucking Obama had done, and it's just like, wow.
A lot of his campaign promises were, "We're gonna undo everything Obama did."
Yeah, that's Make America Great Again.
Yeah.
Where it's like
Make America white again.
Which then leads us from like an offshoot of the BLM to the defund the police movement, which again is one of those misunderstood ones where they're like, "What? You want to take all the money from the cops?" And
No, it's
No,
redistribute
just
it.
we would like to put it into education,
Yeah.
community programs, fucking
Probably
drug
don't need
rehab,
tanks.
things that would actually like help.
benefit society.
Wait a minute, because I didn't even think.
I'm good. I've been spilling so much shit lately. It's fucking ridiculous.
I didn't even think that it was like that. I thought that it was more about like
Say it louder.
where
I will.
where the money goes within the police force, instead of buying like tanks and shit like that we should put money towards like teaching, you know, about how to, when you come up to a situation with somebody with like a mental illness or something like that that's having like a mental breakdown, or like a veteran that's having, you know, a suicide moment, and how to deal with that.
Yeah,
like
that's the more
shit like
centrist
that.
version of that.
Yeah, like
The-
I thought that that's what that meant,
Yeah,
where
it
it was,
encompasses
you know,
all of those things.
Yeah,
where it was
yeah.
literally like, just take the money that you're spending on the needless shit that clearly isn't working and put it elsewhere where we know it'll reduce crime and it'll reduce these shootings.
It's
Right,
kind of
yeah,
insane that
that's-
with the technology we have, we don't have more non-lethal ways to subdue somebody. It's
Yeah.
like insane.
because we don't do the research into that.
Cops
Yeah,
are forgetting that they do also have a stun gun for that exact fucking reason, and you should be going through all of these measures before even touching your fucking gun.
And they should be making, I don't know, better stun guns. I don't know.
Yeah, so the guy who invented stun guns is a fun story to go into. Maybe we'll talk about that.
There's
some
also
other time.
beanbags.
But,
Yeah.
well, that's also a fun one to go into, too.
They're
We're
not as
almost there.
non-lethal.
Hold on, all right, let's
Here
get.
we go again.
The comparison between the right and the left, like in the media during this time, was like, well, it's just all, both sides are crazy. They're protesting on both sides.
Yeah.
These protesters have a right to protest just as much as these people do.
Yeah, and
When-
the Capitol building happened.
Yeah, exactly. So on the right, oh man, I should have sent. I'm gonna send this to the Discord real quick. I have a picture of like the Capitol protest and the police presence there, and then like the BLM protest at the Capitol and the police presence there.
Yeah, the
So I
cops
feel
didn't
like-
just stand by and watch us and let us peacefully
Hold on, I
protest.
feel like you don't even have to send that photo, and we already know what the photos are gonna be.
Yeah.
I guess I can
and
just
what-
show it real quick, so I don't want to
what-
waste any more time.
Okay, so at the
So I'll turn this way. That's the January 6th protest.
and the one on the
Council
right,
direction.
and the one on the right
walk
is
into the White House
That's
and throw
the
a pizza
BLM.
party.
BLM.
Yeah, and
So
then
you could
steal
see-
shit from the Oval
Okay,
Office
so
and then walk
Cops
out.
lining the front of the Capitol building for the BLM protesters for the January 6th fucking
Yeah.
there's
insurrectionists.
Just
nothing.
watched them.
Nothing.
Just
They
watched
opened
them.
the doors.
No, it's not that they weren't there. They were there.
Yes.
They
I
just
shared
watched
that
it
on
happen.
Facebook,
Yeah.
and it got flagged for misinformation.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's literally
What?
photo evidence, and they're like, it's misinformation.
Facebook is part of the downfall of our society.
Oh god, fuck Meta.
I mean, I also think that's like social media is also kind of a downfall. Like having all of that shit, and then you know it's constantly a fucking like you never know what is.
It's a
when
pissing
somebody-
contest.
Yeah.
Yes,
It's a
and that's
virtual
the
pissing
problem.
contest.
That's the problem with our society and in general is that
Yeah.
we're constantly in this pissing contest of like, and either justifying or unjustifying, you know, people's emotions and how they feel and like what's going on. You're like, oh, well, because of my life, it's not like that, and you know, because of this, it's not like that, or whatever. And it's like, but you're not living, and
but your house is not on fire.
Exactly.
I'd like to speed to because this will address what chat just said too.
It's on my fucking.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna speed through.
I just got this
last little bit.
I just got a new laptop and you fucked it up already.
Sorry.
Jesus Christ.
I'm just gonna exit.
No, you ain't.
From just like an overview perspective, like the officers moving suddenly on peaceful protesters, hitting them with tear gas and rubber rounds, which tasers, tear gas, and rubber bullets and beanbags are all semi-non-lethal. They are all potentially deadly, and cops are supposed to be trained to, like, if you're using rubber bullets or beanbags, you shoot at the legs.
We were flashbanged in Cincinnati, and it's like, that wasn't supposed to ever be a fucking thing.
A woman had her orbital socket broken because cops were shooting at the head.
At their faces. Yeah. You're definitely
That's
supposed to
smart.
be aiming at the legs, not their faces.
They're even going as far as targeting reporters and journalists who were just trying to cover the fucking protests.
Yep.
Last time there was a riot at the Capitol, it was 1812. And that's when the British troops, in retaliation to the Americans burning the Capitol at York, which is now Toronto, Canada, the British burned Washington, D.C. and the Capitol building. And this is 1812, and it was like being built, so they didn't really do anything. But that's the last time something like this happened.
I would just like to point out that none of us were like, let's go to the Capitol building. No, that was the rights.
Yeah.
Like, we wanted nothing to do with that. We were protesting in neighborhoods to raise awareness. We weren't storming the Capitol just for what?
The claim that it was Antifa there, and that's what made everything violent.
God. Antifa was literally made up. By the right.
You know, it stands for anti-fascism. Don't you? That's what you should stand for,
So you're
right?
supporting fascists now.
Well, they do. That's the thing. They love fascism.
All right, let me finish speeding through this real quick. 600 plus protests across all 50 states, and yet the media narrative is that there's two equally legitimate sides to this. Then I said my Antifa side is showing. Let me chill out a little bit. So May 25th, after the death of Floyd, is like that's when fucking all this kind of like solidifies in the BLM movement.
Yeah.
Police using violence to quell protests centered around police violence. Like when they talk about the BLM protests were violent, it was mostly the cops doing it.
Yeah.
Don't kill them, but hit them hard. Cool. That's a quote from a state patrol officer in full riot gear telling his team as they're gearing up and going out into that protest.
Don't kill them, but beat the shit out of them.
Yeah. This is on video. I have the video. I just didn't send it, but like you can listen to this guy say this. Don't kill them, but hit them hard. Cool, guys? Smashing windows and police cars, burning down buildings, attacking like privately owned businesses.
Was
like,
never
breaking windows.
us.
That's not and it's also not the same kind of violence. And you can't blame you can't blame property damage on the whole movement. Nor can you compare property damage to people getting beaten over like rights.
That was my whole fucking ordeal about the thing. Is none of us were doing that. It was always these fucking anarchist motherfuckers that just wanted a reason to show up and fuck shit up. It wasn't us. It wasn't BLM. Either those people were literally fucking planted there, because there are so many videos of people being like, where did these bricks come from? There's no construction within a half-mile radius of here. Why are there bricks on the street corner? Because they were inciting riots.
And people being like, that's a bullshit leftist conspiracy.
So
it's not. There's historical evidence for this. Even when Hurricane Sandy
happened, literally trying to turn it into a terrorist movement by setting us up so that they could have propaganda against us.
Even when Hurricane Sandy happened, there was like this guy on film he was like reporting from the scene and being like, there's talks of riots and looting happening, everybody stay off the streets. No fucking looting happened.
No.
Like in that area after you check
it's
after the news report.
It's
exactly.
fear-mongering.
So they always fucking talk that shit up. That's been property damage is not the equivalence of violence, and the media and the police want you to believe it is.
Exactly.
That's why they went so fucking hard on it. And that's basically all I had. And then we could get to fucking where we were. I took Crystal downtown in kind of like the aftermath of 2020, where like
Ghost Town, USA.
When like the courthouse was still like boarded up. Mm-hmm. There was a bunch of buildings still boarded up to protect the windows and shit. And the Proud Boys happened to be down there that day while we were just walking around, and like
Ew.
the White Liberation Front and like a few of those other like militia groups that are like,
Yeah.
we're not racist, but they are.
They are.
We're not racist. We know you are.
They were down there, and I was like, let's just fucking like take a walk
We're
around
not
the
racist.
block.
We're just saying that white people are superior.
The leader of the Proud Boys was on a megaphone, like, giving a speech, and I was like, I was interested. My wife is Latin, so obviously she's just like, get me the fuck out of here. But I was like, let's take a walk around the
I'm
block.
so brown here.
Right. I was like, let's see what these fucking guys
I've
are
never
about.
felt more brown in my life.
So
She was the only drop of color in a mile radius.
I get to like the sidewalk where I can like see the guy fucking talking on the megaphone. He's giving like this well, not white pride, just like national pride. Again, dog whistles. Where he's like, we're Americans, we're patriots. They've all got their
Trying to rile people
They've
up.
all got their guns and like their fucking vests and shit on. Like they're all armored and shit up. And there's like a big group of old white people there cheering for it. And as we're walking by, there's just like these dudes off on the side. One dude's got his gun where he's just like smacking the end of it in his other hand.
Oh, that.
And I'm holding my wife's hand, and they're all three of them just stop and just looking at us as we go by, and they're like, hope you guys have a lovely day. And then I was like, all right, no, you were right. We can get the fuck out of here.
I'm gonna go home and fuck my brown wife. So yeah.
I was at a weird spot in life and like having a lot of just shit go on at home, so I never got to go down to the protest myself. But that was my experience of the aftermath of the BLM protest, was like getting intimidated in a friendly manner by the Proud Boys.
Friendly man, friendly man.
Yeah.
It's like when you talk shit to a dog, but you say it in a nice voice so that they don't understand that you're talking shit to them.
Yeah.
You're
yeah.
so fucking stupid.
Basically.
I hate you so fucking much. That's what they were doing to you.
Yeah. And people who felt comfortable doing it because the movement's got, like, the discourse and the divide has gotten to a point where they can be out and open, and like we are just counter protesters, heavily armed and white nationalists.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird.
Austin, you want to go?
Oh, this fucking planet? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Humans suck.
Oh God, yeah.
There's extremists on both sides, and with social media, it's clickbait. They make it seem like there is way more people out there than what is actually out there that are on the extremist side, because that's what social media does. It's all clickbait. But when you talk to people, on the majority of people I feel like that you talk to, it's not quite like that. So I definitely think that, like, don't play into it. You know, talk to people. Actually sit down and have conversations with people is the best thing that you can do. Because when you do that, in my experience at least, you realize that, you know, yeah, we might disagree on some things, but it's not like
But that doesn't make either one of us a terrible fucking person. It's a matter of how you handle it.
I don't think you should die.
Exactly.
I don't think that, like, we can't live or coexist together. Like, that's not the case. We can agree to disagree on certain things, but when it comes to, like, politics or, you know, shit like that, left and right, you know, Black Lives Matter, All Lives Matter, like, all this other shit, the media makes it seem like everybody is against everybody. But when you actually go out into the world and you talk to people and you meet people, it's not like that at all.
Yeah.
It's not.
I think the actual, like, that's very true in kind of like a spectrum-y kind of way. But
There are extremists out there, but
Yeah.
but media makes it seem like there's way more. Like, it's you're either this way or this way.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think in between the extremists, though, there's like the normal, and normal can be a bunch of different things. Where, like, I think there's a bunch of just normal people out there who don't really give much of a fuck, but when confronted with the shit, they're like, they have bad takes, they have like bad politics, and like will agree with shit that, like, either because they're religious or they're scared of the future or they're fiscally conservative. Like, there's a bunch of reasons why somebody might be like, this isn't as big of a problem as like these left extremists are making it out to be. And I think there's a spectrum of extremists too. Like, when you talk about like when you talk about like fucking terrorist attacks because people don't like the LGBT movement versus like extremists on the left who are like eco-terrorists or whatever, like
Right.
I do think there's a difference
Planting
between those two
trees.
things, like,
You're in your fucking trees.
or like blowing up a pipeline because you don't want there to be a pipeline there. Like, I get that
and
there's
then causing an oil spill.
Yeah,
which
that's
in
a
turn
great
has
idea for the
way
environment.
worse
I get that
effects.
there's fucked up shit where, like, for the greater good when you're on extreme isn't always for the good of everybody. And
Exactly.
It's fucked up.
Exactly.
But there is a difference.
People be
that's
like,
my
there's
point.
extremes on both sides, and there is, but the extreme version on the left is like where no one gets hurt. They're like, we just want so bad for everything to be okay.
Yeah, no, legitimately. We're all just like, we just want people to, like, be treated as human beings.
Right.
And then the rights are just like, no, everybody has to die.
I'm so
If
sorry.
you disagree with me, you die.
I'm so sorry that I just want everybody to be happy and like live their own
No,
lives.
literally.
How
You
dare
know,
you,
as long as you don't hurt yourself or others. And
Right.
there's a huge thing
Exactly.
right there with that is not hurting yourself
Right.
Right.
or others.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
all I want.
I think
you know?
most people would agree with that. Like if you asked anybody, most people would say yes to that. But then there's also people when they hear about like.
But
they're
if you're black.
they're coming after your kids with these drag queen story hours, and they're gonna
Oh
turn
my
them
god!
gay.
When we were at the Pride Parade, he was like, "Oh yeah, we're indoctrinating our kids," and I went, "Yeah, look at all the fucking drag queens that are molesting our children out here. Like, what the fuck?"
There are people who will hear that and not think very deeply about it, and they're normal people, and they'll just be like, "Okay, I guess that's what's happening in the world now. I should be scared
No.
of gay people."
No.
Like,
when we talk about like church and shit like that, and like you want to talk about indoctrinating, you know,
Religion is
people,
brain poison.
indoctrinating like kids and shit to believe a certain thing, and then you're talking about like, oh, these drag queens are indoctrinating our fuck. You do the same shit with religion. You
Exactly.
don't.
But it's okay when it's that.
But you don't give them an opportunity to have a choice on what they decide to believe in.
Forcing your child to stay in the closet is also another way of indoctrinating them by telling them
Exactly.
that being gay is wrong
Exactly.
and a sin and you shouldn't
that's
fucking
my,
do it.
That's my point, is that you don't give them an opportunity to have their own opinions on things.
Be a fucking
To
human.
grow up into the world and give them the opportunity to see the world and then make decisions on their own.
Yeah.
And like I've always said that, you know, I'm not religious, and you know, honesty is not religious either. And if my child decides to become religious, I'm going to give her that opportunity to go out and do that on her own. I will give my own opinion, but I'm not going to shun her for being religious if she decides to do so. And you know, and that's the difference though. And so you're like, oh, they're indoctrinating. You're just showing kids out there in the world that what the fucking world is.
Exactly.
We are not now. There are extremists out there that will say things. If you want to get into it, if you really want to get into it, there are extremists on that side that's like, everybody's a little bit gay. I like your face when I said that. Everybody's a little bit gay. And it's like, oh, you haven't met the right... You know what, Trey? You haven't just met the right guy yet. That's it.
When
That's
I
all
was
it is.
exclusively dating women, I heard that a lot. You just
haven't
haven't
seen
had the
Austin-
right dick yet.
you just haven't seen
Yeah.
Austin's dick yet.
Well,
Dick goes stupid.
Damn it! We went back to me!
Call back.
But yes, so again, on all spectrums of everything, there are extremists on all sides.
Yeah.
You want to talk about politics, trans rights, all this shit, there's fucking like... There's extremists on all sides that say all this fucking crazy shit.
I just think it's
And-
important to, like, King transphobe Matt Walsh, which I only know about him because I'm way too online. I'm sure most of you guys, like, it's the guy who made it's the guy who made the What Is a Woman documentary.
Yeah.
That was like
I
heavily.
think we've brought that up
Yes,
before.
please
Yeah.
tell me
He
as
has
a
tribesmen.
non-binary
But if we're
person.
talking about
Please tell
if we're
me.
talking about indoctrination from, like, these people are so scared of LGBT. This guy is like, women at the age of 16 through 17 are at, like, the ripe age for pregnancy.
Prime baby laying age,
And
yeah.
the reason he's saying that is because he's a Catholic conservative and he believes that, like, if you're gonna have children, you should be married. You should get married at a young age to have children to make more Christians.
The age of consent until the 1950s.
He's indoctrinating
Okay, but
people.
this is also going off of a time where a lot of people didn't live past like 30, 40.
Right, but he
So
wants that
you
now.
had to have
The age of consent
no. We're
until
talking,
the 1950s was 12.
yeah. That's my point. That was like back then where people didn't live past like 50.
Don't you think it's
And
crazy
now,
though that a guy's
because of
like
medical shit, we live way past that, and so it's like
Tell
you're
that to
still
our
living.
grandparents that just refused to fucking die.
a guy that's
That's
like
when they grew up.
trans people are pedophiles is his like message,
Oh my
but
God.
he's like 16-year-old should be pregnant.
Oh my god.
It's like the same guy is saying those two things.
rejection.
Like,
Just like
And-
all the priests that are like, oh, being gay is a sin, but I'm gonna diddle little boys. boys.
Yeah.
And then guess what? They just get fucking passed around from church to church with no problem.
To answer chat, there's an African American YouTuber that goes to the most racist town in USA, and they almost hang out with them, like party and all that shit with them. It's so bizarre. I've seen both of those videos that the guy does. They're both hilarious, well done videos. The main guy that they interview, like, I get what you're saying. Like, most people are normies. Most people are like, yeah, even if they have like a little bit of internalized racism, they don't see a black guy and just immediately like N-word
And go, ah, black guy.
But the guy that he interviews is like, he asks him like, if I moved next to you, would you have a problem with it? And he was like, well, I wouldn't like burn your house down, but I wouldn't be a nice neighbor. Like, I would call you the N-word. Like, the guy is very, and he talks about black people in such a way where he's like, yeah, you guys are less than us. So yeah,
he's just telling him straight up, like, I don't respect you, honestly.
Yeah, he
You're
basically
kind of
says
not
that.
a human being to me.
But let's also maybe try and take it in a point where, like, that dude has lived in a white, like, only white people are around.
And he admits that freely, and he says he lives there because he doesn't like living around black people.
And because he's never sat down and have a fucking conversation with black people, like, he's or anybody of color, like,
yeah,
you know.
And when
like,
he does, he's like, I still think that I wouldn't like you. He's talking to a black guy and being like, I still think black people suck.
But I feel like
Some
if he
people
would
suck.
just sit down and actually have the conversation, you know, and like get to know, you know, people and shit like that, like legit, you know, because again, there are, you know, in the world we fucking live in, I'm not, you know, saying anything out of the fucking blue here, but there are, you know, gangbangers and shit like that that's out there. We have the Bloods and the Crips that have been around for how fucking long now?
Most of them
Like-
are white, though.
Huh?
Most of them are white, though.
Nowadays,
Most of them are white.
white people appropriate everything. Even
Exactly. Even the gangs. They've gentrified the gangs.
Okay, but we're going off of like, but my point is
You're
that
going off of it's
you
a
know,
stereotype
it
within
is,
culture.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Which
and
is why people believe shit like that.
exactly. But if you were to go and meet like a doctor who's black, a surgeon who's black, like an accountant who's
Ben
black,
Carson.
and like if you
The
were
guy who famously hates women and is super lit. Sorry, that's just a funny example that immediately came to mind. He's a Supreme Court justice. Anyway.
but if he would go and meet them and you know see how you know how they are, where it's like you know
You'd be
they're
like,
just
I'm about to get my heart surgery done by a Crip.
Oh, that'd be so
I hope you don't
fun.
spread
He's
more
like
from
throwing
my
up gang
ovaries.
signs while he's like fucking doing that shit. So I mean, I get why like you feel that way, but if you were to actually go out into the fucking world and not live in the same fucking town for your entire fucking life around nothing but white people, and then you're like, oh, I don't want to live next to a black person because
That is the
Like-
problem, though, is that people literally believe that shit, though. They're like,
Yeah.
white people are better. I want to live this lifestyle. I don't want to have conversations with
Yeah.
black people. And when I'm forced to, I'll tolerate it.
I'll tolerate it, but it's
Yeah.
like if you actually sat down and have a conversation with anybody else that
Happy
from any
Father's Day,
different
Alan. Good night. He says good night.
Happy Father's
Happy
Day.
Father's Day.
I gotta pee again, I'm sorry.
Happy
it's
Daddy
just-
Day.
it's
You know,
so
I
dumb.
kind of do too.
Speaking
Go
of
pee together.
speaking of Father's
Oh,
Day,
tandem pissing.
Hold hands.
speaking of Father's Day though, we got like 12 minutes till we're done. Here.
Okay, I just won't talk about my experience with BLM then. I should have asked you last. I knew that you were going to
No,
go
go
off
ahead.
for the next 15 fucking minutes.
Go ahead.
Or 2 hours.
Trey, can you pull up the picture that I sent to our group chat? It pretty much sums up the entire fucking BLM experience. that I
Top
had.
left.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
in
there
our...
you go.
Yeah.
You can switch to that.
Oh.
So, this is a picture of my beautiful daughter at 3 years old, and my best friend's son, who they grew up together. He's 2 years younger. And she walked for about 3 miles before hopping in that wagon with Sebastian. Sebastian is a low-functioning autistic. He is also nonverbal. And Joanna is his number one, like, she'll beat you the fuck up over Sebastian. And we walked for about 3 miles, and everything was great, and everybody was super fucking happy to see her. The turnout in Cincinnati was ridiculous. It was people of every size, shape, color, ethnicity, everything. And everybody was just so stoked. They were like, hell yeah, speak your piece, little white girl. It was fucking great. And when I got out of the car with her, I was like, yo, baby, why are we here? And she said, we're here for Sebastian. And I said, you're goddamn right, we're here for Sebastian. And why are we here for Sebastian? And she said, because we love Sebastian. And I said, you're goddamn right, we fucking do. Put your mask on, let's go. And about 2 weeks later, we went back to the BLM protests in front of the courthouse. And that's when we started getting flashbanged and tear gassed and chased out. And I parked my car in OTR, and we walked throughout Clifton, but then they blocked off all the streets to get back to OTR, so I had no way to get back to my fucking car. And when I was like, this is getting dangerous, let's get the fuck up out of here, they were corralling us all.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I had to run from the cops that day.
Violent police tactics.
Yeah, and I ran from the cops that day, and I actually ended up calling Tez and Rihanna and being like, yo, my car's back in OTR. I need you to give me a ride back out there. They've got the streets blocked off. They've got dogs out. Like, we're not going anywhere. And,
Did you have JoJo with you?
I did not the second time. No, I didn't.
Okay, good.
No, that was just me and Brian. But, yeah, this one was great. We were out there for hours. And every time I was like, do you want to sit in the wagon? She was like, no, I want to walk. And she walked for like 3 miles.
What a goon.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
That belongs like on the cover of a fucking magazine right there. With his little
Time
sign.
magazine.
With his little sign that says I can't breathe. Like,
Yeah.
That is a very fucking...
As an iconic photo.
Yeah.
And I get to show that to my daughter for the rest of her life and be like, you stood up for our family that day. You know, because especially with Sebastian being nonverbal, I worry about him. I worry about him constantly. What he's going to be like as an adult. If he ever does get to a point where he's allowed to drive a car, I'm worried that he will get pulled over at a traffic stop and he'll get overwhelmed by the police and he'll start to like visibly freak out and that cop might shoot him.
I mean, that's already happened. There was literally a dude that was laying on the ground that was a person of color that like had like mental illness, and there was somebody that was there with him that was saying like he, you know,
But he had a shiny toy truck that looked like a gun.
exactly,
so-
and they fucking shot him.
And I'm scared to death of that because I have known Sebastian since he lived in his dad's ballsack. Like, I was there the day that Rihanna found out that she was pregnant. I was there, wasn't there the day he was born. I was actually out of town that day, but in Canada.
Yeah.
And I came home and I brought Rihanna. She was mad at me that I missed his birth, but I was all the way in fucking Canada. So I brought her a cupcake with a number 0 candle lit. And I walked downstairs and I went, happy birthday! And she went, you're a fucking idiot. Get inside the house. I was like, yay! Do I get to hold him? Like, that's my dude. That's my dude, and that is my daughter's best friend in the entire world. And I would kill for that kid. We've both agreed, like, if anything happened to Tez and Rihanna, I would take the boys. And if anything happened to me, they would take her.
Yeah.
Like, those are my fucking backups.
When you say you would kill for the kid, do you mean a bunch of cops?
Jesus fucking
I wouldn't kill him, but I'd rough him up a bit, you know?
All right,
Cool.
so we got
I'd roundhouse kick a cop. Remember that kid?
we got like 7 minutes, and
Talk about your dads.
the-
I can't be a part of this conversation.
the
I
past-
don't know mine.
the second half of this was supposed to be about like Father's Day shit,
Peepaw.
but we went into a bunch of important things that
And some side rails.
and some side rails, yeah. So very important stuff. Not gonna take away from that. But happy Father's Day to everybody that is a father out there, an actual father, by the way, too. I'm gonna throw that out there. Which is me and you, bud.
Yeah. I got a weed whacker and a fucking blower,
dude.
and I couldn't be happier.
I saw the photo that Crystal posted where she was like, he's not on Facebook, but this is what I got him for Father's Day, and I like showed it to him. I was like, is this where we're at now? Where we get a fucking weed whacker and blower for Father's Day and we're happy about it? He was like, yes.
You're gonna get a blower.
That's
for Father's Day.
Oh shit.
Did you get 2 kinds of blowers, Wes, or was it just the one?
I'm still waiting on the second one.
You'll get it actually
Father's
on,
Day yet.
Yeah, I was gonna say you'll get it actually on,
Oh,
on
fuck.
tomorrow. Tomorrow you'll get that. And
Shit.
I just want to say, like, to everybody out there that's actually being a father, like, kudos to
hats
you.
off to you because you're a fucking rare breed.
Thank you to all the very weird stepdads that my mom went through that tried their best with me.
Hats off to the non-biological fathers who decided to raise a child that they did not create.
Yep.
Oh, and also thank you, Dad.
Thanks, Dad.
R.I.P. Dad.
Thank you to my dad, too. The only reason that we have this space right now, that we're doing this here...
Oh, he could probably hear you if you yell that loud enough.
He knows. I've already
Should
told
we
him.
all do it at once?
Thanks, Dad.
Thanks, Dad!
Thanks, Dad. He knows, though. I've told him multiple times before, like, I thank him for everything that he did for me. Even though, like, back when I was younger, he was like, hey,
Limited.
you can either come over here or you can stay at your mom's. Like, we had, like, the every other weekend. But he knew that I didn't really have any friends over here. He was paying child support for 3 kids.
He was limited, and he gave you that choice and that freedom.
And now that I'm older, I'm like, well, shit, I wish I would have spent more time with you. But now I live with him, and I get to...
We're a quarter of a way through our lives, hon. You can spend all the time with him.
But I wish I, like...
I know.
Looking back on it and the shit that I went through with my mom and everything else, like, I almost wish I would have, like, stayed with him. And
Mine's
I would have
dead.
been,
at least you have that. You know.
I do. Yeah, for sure.
You
and
can make
again, hindsight's 20/20. You know, and I'm just saying, like, I wish I would have known back then, but you don't know that. You're just a kid. You have no fucking idea.
Don't.
I had all my friends over at my mom's house because I went to school with those kids and everything else.
Yeah.
But looking back on it, I'm like, oh, I wish I had that. But now I live with him and I have a great fucking relationship with him, and it's fucking amazing to have that.
He gave me shit. He was like, "Who wears pajamas to the grocery store?" And I went, okay, but in my defense, he was like, "You fucking heathen! What are you doing wearing pajamas to the grocery store?"
Earlier today, by the way.
And I was like, okay, in my defense, I don't actually have like pajamas. I just have sweatpants and a t-shirt. So like even my pajamas are like normal outside of the house clothes. So I'm not wearing like a nightgown to the fucking grocery store.
Right.
But no, I mean, I feel like, you know, me and your dad, kind of the same. IT workers, you know. Yeah. Did the best that they could for the situation that it was and everything else. Like, it was very nice to have. And like now, again, we would not. What we have right here would not be possible if it wasn't for my dad and him letting me move in with him, and him eventually like letting me take over the house and everything else. Like, that dude has done so much for me with paying child support throughout the years for 3 kids and like doing everything that he could. We couldn't do much as kids, but that's because he was working his ass off and then also working a side job fixing computers and everything else, just to have extra money to be able to like.
I was gonna say porn.
No, just to be able to take us to like Dairy Queen, like during the week. He would come and pick us up and shit like that. And he'd like, now looking back on that after having a kid and seeing all those things that he's done, I was like, oh, okay, no, I kind of get it now. You know, I get, and then doing that with my kid, we're like taking her to COSI and like all the things that we've been doing with, you know, taking JoJo and Amelia to like, you know, the Park of Roses and like everything else, like doing all that shit.
Real quick, also shout out to the single moms. We've been doing this shit where we have to be both parents this entire fucking time. I am both a mother and a father to that fucking kid.
Well, you get 2 fucking holidays? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, she gets 2 fucking holidays.
I do.
I mean, she is non-binary. She does get 2
I've seen Facebook posts. I was like, I don't want to see the fucking moms out there that are like, oh, my fucking Father's Day.
Nah, hats off to the single moms. This shit is fucking hard.
For real.
Yeah, no, I do. I do give the props. This shit is fucking hard
by yourself.
And same thing to the single dads too.
Absolutely,
it's the same thing. Like and we're not taking away from either one. And that's another thing. No. We're not taking away from either one. The
it's
Father's
literally
Day,
just the shout outs that I never hear. Shout outs to the stepdads. Shout outs to the adopted dads. Shout out to the single moms. Like, these are things that I don't fucking hear. Even on Mother's Day, I don't get props for being a single mom. People are just like, congratulations, you crapped out a kid. Like, bet you won't do that again. And it's like, thanks.
Damn.
Feel the love.
Yeah. Have some flowers that'll die in 2 days that I got at the gas station.
Yeah. No, they got them on the side of the road for like $5.
Anyways,
I don't fucking agree with that at all. I mean, shout out to everybody that's out there just being a fucking parent.
Yeah.
For Father's Day and Mother's Day. Shout out to everybody that's out there, whether it's your biological kid or not. Shout out to everybody that's out there being a parent. You know, we
out
have
there making sure that our kids had more than us, had better than us.
We have these fucking Hallmark
Shout out to anyone
holidays.
that's had a Tamagotchi.
Right. And took care of that shit.
If you didn't let it
Do you
die
have
by
to
day
be
2.
so horrendously kid-free over there?
That's the third time that Trey has, like, just barged in and said some fucking hilarious shit.
And I'm gonna have to clip it later.
Yes, you are. But yeah, no, I mean, shout out to everybody that just is being a parent, whether it's your own kid or it's not. Like, whether it's blood or not, just shout out to you being a great fucking parent. We get these Hallmark holidays, and they're like, oh, well, you gotta pay attention to the father, you gotta pay attention. No.
No, we
don't
celebrate
fucking
being
need that shit
parents. We celebrate being parents every fucking
single
day. Every fucking day.
That
Every
shit you were
day.
talking about like not realizing until you're older and having your own kids too. Like my fucking first stepdad, who like genuinely loved me, genuinely loved my mom, and shit just didn't work out. But like I've told the story before about how I never went to Wyandotte Lake, even though I lived like right around the corner. It was like my backyard basically, and then they tore it down. Like,
How do you tear down a lake?
Wyandotte Lake was
She's like, how do you tear down a lake?
I'm not from here.
Have you ever heard of Zumbizi Bay?
Those English words?
It's the water park attached to the Columbus Zoo.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
You say water park.
It was formerly called Wyandotte Lake.
An ancient
fucking
language.
Japanese?
It was formerly called Wyandotte Lake.
So
And
they tore it
yeah.
down, and for like a few years there was just nothing, and then eventually there was Zumbizi Bay.
Oh, kind of
Wait.
like how
Wait,
fucking
they tore that. Wait, what?
Great
They tore
Wolf
down
Lodge
Wyandotte
used to be
Lake.
Coco
I thought they
Key.
just
Oh, yeah, I
fucking
remember
changed it
that.
to Zumbizi Bay.
Oh no, it was all different.
And
It
then
was all
Soak
different.
City used to be something else too.
No, because the white roller coaster's still there.
They kept some stuff, but they tore.
Oh, yeah,
it was
that's-
all
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
different.
It's
Yeah.
I was
wasn't
like, how the
totally
fuck do you,
torn
how the
down.
fuck do you bulldoze a goddamn lake? You
Yeah,
just
no,
drove
no,
a
no.
fucking
Anyway,
dozer
It was
underwater?
a water park, and it was formerly called Wyandotte Lake, and now it's
Okay,
called Zumbizi Bay.
Point being, I used to have like I would tell that story with like some vitriol, like where it was like my stepdad at the time didn't.
Oops.
He always promised to take me and then never did. What the fuck? And then it was torn down. What the fuck?
And then it was
Like,
torn down.
yeah.
What the fuck?
But as an adult now and looking back on it, it was because my mom was a drug addict and had like a barely paying job, and he was doing all that he could to like keep the house and the land that we had, and, like just keep us above fucking water. And that's like why.
And you were like, I want to go to the water park.
yeah.
Fuck you.
Which there's two sides to it, both sides. But there's where like he could have done more to spend time with me, but also I get now why that was a thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
That was my
9
point.
million.
That
Yeah.
that was my
Just
point. Where
winging
it's
it at
like
this point.
back in the day, and like looking back on it, I was like, well, why the fuck didn't you spend more time with us? But then looking like now that I've learned more and more about like what the fuck was actually going on back when I was a kid, I'm like, oh, I get why you were
You
fucking
spent your only time with me.
exactly
Like with him being so fucking
and then
busy.
every other moment that you spent was him working
Yeah.
and doing side jobs and shit. The
Yeah.
reason why I learned to build a computer was because he was doing that as a side job. He would take parts from jobs that he was doing, and when he got like, you know, parts or whatever for computers, and then he would like put a computer together, and then he would put it on, you know, Craigslist or whatever, and then sell that computer to make extra money. Like, that motherfucker did that shit, and then he taught me how to do the same exact thing. Like, the dude did everything he could to make sure that we were all taken care of, because he was paying child support for 3 different kids. And for my half-brother, he paid the same amount of child support for my half-brother as he did for me and my biological brother together.
Damn, man, gotta contain that nut.
Yeah.
Paying so much money.
She trapped him. My half-brother, his mom trapped him, actually.
Yeah.
She said that she was on like birth control and shit like that, and wasn't, and then got pregnant, and basically trapped him.
Lying bitch.
Yep. And
Fucking
so,
women.
Yeah.
Women.
Yeah.
Fucking women suck. Thank God there aren't any here to hear us say that.
I love people of color, but fuck women. You heard it here first. Just kidding.
Hey, Kevin, will you take me home?
Well, here's the thing. He does fuck women.
Hashtag fucking women.
Hashtag fucking Lou Schmidt. My ex-girlfriend just randomly posted that one day on Facebook. And I was like, can we make that trend on Twitter? Please.
Anywho.
And I kind of want to get that tattooed on me now.
Can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
This is completely off topic.
Interject.
Can I? Now that Twitter's owned by Elon Musk, can I directly tweet at him if he was either a Nickelodeon or a Cartoon Network kid?
Yeah.
I was gonna do that.
Absolutely
I just figured I'd run that by you.
I don't doubt that he would answer.
I figured he might answer.
He would.
He didn't grow up though in America. He grew up in South Africa.
Yeah.
So they didn't have it.
I feel like
cares?
he has such an ego though that he still want to respond to that. Where like he might still just answer for the fuck of it.
Well, yeah.
He might just say interesting. Period. Like he does on every other
We
tweet.
we should go through like our Rolodex.
My question is, you felt like you had to run that by me?
Well, because it's kind of a controversial. Like
you had to run that by me?
to just be like, all right,
You sure?
as a podcast, we're gonna tweet directly at this guy. Like,
We should also tweet like Mark
Okay,
Zuckerberg.
I would be like, hey, Elon Musk, do you say the N-word? Yeah, you might have to run that by me. But you're like, hey, are you Nickelodeon or Cartoon
Just
Network?
asking.
Yeah, what the fuck? You have to run that by
we should
me?
just make a
Well,
list of
there's-
all the famous people that we need to tweet at.
there's been
for
times in
that.
the past where I have tweeted at famous people and not run it by you. Like the time that when we did
But this was something that you were like, oh, I gotta run this
the
by
time that
Austin
we
real quick. Hold
the
on.
time that we did the butterfly effect.
The what?
The butterfly.
The bitter flame of fleck.
The butterfly effect.
Yeah,
I tweeted
butterfly
directly
effect.
at Ben Affleck a picture of him as a butterfly.
We didn't get a response, by the way.
He didn't respond.
Afflecked, I get it.
I thought it was genius.
I hate you. His name is Ben
I'm just so
Affleck.
confused why you thought that.
Because he's a
Asking-
controversial guy and like tweeting directly at him on his platform and probably
Ben
getting a
Affleck?
response.
Ben Affleck.
But
He's
why-
controversial.
No,
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk.
Why did you think that I would
What
ever
did
have
you
a
do?
problem with
I didn't think
is
that you
my
would.
question.
I didn't think you would have a problem with it. I just figured I should be like, "Hey, I'm doing
Bring it
this
up.
before I do it."
Yeah.
Just fucking do it.
Oh, okay. I was just trying to be respectful.
I'm just confused where you think that.
It's not a problem.
No, it's not a problem. It's not a problem. I'm genuinely confused where that question and even Elon Musk, I know he's like controversial or whatever, where you thought that was even like gonna be a thing for me. Like,
I didn't think it would be a thing. I just figured if I'm doing
Last
something
night we were
as,
drunk in the
like,
kitchen and we
representing
kept
all of
making
us,
like
I should make sure we're all on board
coming noises.
before. I didn't think you wouldn't be. I just figured I should check.
I mean, I guess I see what
We're
you're saying.
as an organization,
I
I
see what
shouldn't
you're
just
saying.
tweet
Turtle
things that are
humping a
like
shoe.
me.
I see what you're saying, but I feel like you have enough of a.
That's the same reaction I got last night too.
I missed all of what happened.
Yeah, because we were having a conversation, they were interrupting.
We were making like turtle humping a shoe noises in my kitchen last night, and it was really fucking funny.
Okay.
You were just yelling at Wes for like bringing up a topic. That was the whole conversation you were having.
He was confused.
He was just yelling. Is this how we're having all of our conversations
You
now?
get what I say, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. well,
Resolution.
I'll do the tweet.
End of
Tweeter.
that.
All right. Well, it's 12:08. This is the end of the episode. You guys know what to do. Go follow us on all the fucking shit.
I thought you was about to be like, go fuck
Go
yourself.
fuck yourselves.
I gotta piss. I gotta
Shove
piss.
it up your ass.
I gotta
Go
pee.
follow our
Just boof
Pornhub
it.
account, please.
Just boof it.
I gotta pee. So have fun. Do whatever the fuck you want to. I don't
Remember,
know. Hey, don't
just
hurt
boof
yourself
it.
or others. Happy Father's Day, everybody.
Go
out there.
wipe your ass with your own fucking tongue.
Whoa. Who cares about
Wipe
this
your-
shit anymore? It's all a simulation. What the fuck is going on? Nobody cares. Fuck you guys. Hail Satan. We're out of here.
Nicely said. Is there anything else we need to add to that?
There's places you can fucking.
I like Wes's butt.
What? There's places you can
Thank
fucking fuck
you,
my butt.
Captain Thick Dong. Dick goes stupid.
I don't even want to do the plugs. This was a fun episode.
Nice. We had one from Kevin. That whole time we had one from Kevin.
I needed something carbonated.
Burt
I
County.
should have had that tonight.
Yeah.
I would have been popping off.
Oh, you can find us. If you're on our YouTube, you can find us on fucking Twitch at this goddamn same fucking place. Literally, if you go anywhere and you just look up Blue Skies from the Basement, you'll find us.
Exactly.
Follow us. It's...
Yeah.
It's easy to find. We all know how to use a fucking computer.
Go buy a t-shirt, laptop case, mug, all that shit over at tpublic.com/BSFTB. You can donate to the show if you like what we're doing at PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, all BSFTB.
Join our Discord server. We have a lot of funny shit that goes on, and me and Wes have been working out like a lot of new channel ideas and new ways for people to communicate with each other on the platform.
We are now active on social media again, so you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that shit. Blue Skies for the Basement, Blue Skies Pod.
Ding.
I don't have a good relationship with my father, but that's okay because I have Blue Skies from the Basement podcast.
Aw.
And now for the quote of the day from Iro, from everyone's father. Good times become good memories, but bad times become good lessons. I know it's kind of generic, but I don't have a good Father's Day quote
That's
because
what's up.
who really cares
Secret
about Father's Day,
tunnel.
honestly?
Secret
Yeah.
tunnel.
R.I.P. Iro. Goodbye, everyone.
Later.
Goodbye.
Bye.